update with Karen Dickson, the Health Department.
Wait, we got the minutes first, but I need to get that to you. Yeah.
Jumped ahead. Just stay there, Will.
Yeah, stay right there, Karen. Well, this won't take long. I would make a motion the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County, February 25th, 2020 be approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the proceedings of the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners for February 25th, 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right.
Go ahead, Karen.
Speed. Can you hear me? Okay. All right, good morning. On behalf of Montezuma County Public Health Department, I wanted to give a little bit of an update on the coronavirus. I'm Karen Dickson, and I'm the Emergency Manager for Public Health out of Montezuma County Public Health. So currently, we don't have any cases of coronavirus in the Southwest region. Currently, there are 11 cases in Colorado as of last night. We have no persons of interest getting tested in the Southwest region at all. So right now we're good. We have activated our department operations center to level 2, and that just means that there is more internal staff and external partner communication. We are the lead agency for the public health emergencies, and we take our guidance from CDPHE and CDC. So the guidance that we send out to people and the guidance that we are helping our partners with is coming from those agencies. We have included briefings now on Monday afternoons and Friday mornings, and these are briefings with our community stakeholders, school districts, response agencies, Dolores County and the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe, just to kind of get a feel for the pulse of the community to make sure that everybody has their plans in place, anything new that is happening. And those are just quick little brief outs. If anything changes in our situation where we do get cases here, then we will probably change that and have more briefings or more face-to-face meetings, but we're going to play that by ear. Currently, last night we met with the town of Dolores and we presented to their trustee meeting. We'll be meeting with the city of Cortez tonight at the city council meeting. We met with Mancos Schools yesterday. The town of Mancos, we offered to come and do a presentation there. And after some of the events that they have had, they are really good at making their plans. So they said they're good, they don't need us right now. If that changes, they'll be sure to let us know. The only regional update that I have so far that I have learned is that the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe is establishing some travel restrictions for their staff so that their staff do not travel to places where there are high rates of coronavirus. That information should be coming out today in proclamation or whatever document they use to be able to make their announcement. When that comes out, we will receive that information as well. If it does progress, the coronavirus, we do see probably a need for N95 respirators, but we do have a plan in place with CDPHE to be able to order that through the state stockpile. We do have 2 caches in the state on N95 respirators. So far, the Strategic National Stockpile has not yet been activated, so that's a good thing. This Thursday, we are having a face-to-face meeting with response partners over at the Emergency Operations Center. We'll probably have 30 or so people there. We're going to make sure that hospital, law enforcement, long-term care, fire department, all those different agencies have their plans in place, and we'll be comparing our plans just to make sure that there's no gaps in there. And right after that, we are going to have a public information officers meeting. So anybody who is either an assigned or a voluntold public information officer will be at that meeting. We'll talk about some talking points so that we get a consistent message going out and make sure that everybody is kind of on the same page for that as well, and then establish also some good communication between our public information officers so if things do progress, everybody knows where to get their information. And we are going to keep those Monday and Friday briefings as long as necessary. We have, we've activated our community disease containment plan. We've activated our continuity of operations plan. If you have a lot of people who are absent, how do you run your government? How do you run your business? So we have that plan in place. And then our N95 respirator plan with the guidance that we're receiving from CDPHE, who's to wear it, who's not to wear it. So right now we have our information posted on the Health Department Facebook page. We just changed that a little bit. We have it on the county website. Isaac has done a great job to make it a little bit flashier than what it was before, so we have a little banner on it now that's going to catch people's eye. And we have a whole wall over at the health department of all the flyers from CDPHE. So we've got all those hanging up, plus we have it on the links on the Facebook page. Southwest Memorial Hospital has really good information on their site as well. They're coming up with some videos that are explaining some of the issues with COVID. And then CDPHE and CDC all have really good information on their sites too. And that is my update. Any questions?
Any questions, commissioners?
No, it sounds like you're well prepared and on top of it as much as we can be. So
Yes, sir, we are.
just make sure none of them come to our county.
If I could do that, I would be doing that.
You'd be in demand in a lot of places.
Exactly.
All right.
So far, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
I was just to let people know that when we were in Washington last week, they did say that the test kits would be coming available within a 2 to 3 week period of time. Probably that hasn't expired, so there will be test kits here, and I don't know if you guys have any.
There has been discussion on that. There is still discussion going on with CDPHE on how that is going to look. We're not going to guarantee yet that public health or the hospitals have test kits available just because of the time and the resources involved to be able to do testing. If you consider, if you're doing testing with people, you have to do screening prior to that. The amount of human resources that it takes to do that, from everything from nurses, people backing that up, to law enforcement, making sure that the people who say they aren't following those, they're not within those guidelines for being screened, accept that answer. So there's a lot of conversation right now going on how that testing is going to look if it does take place at the regional or the county level.
And so it's safe to tell our constituents that your brief day lead from the state, we're working closely with the state, and we're not behind the 8 balls, I guess.
We are not behind the 8 ball. Every day that we don't have a positive case here gives us one more day to make sure that we are up to date on our plans and that everybody is on the same page. We are definitely, I feel very comfortable. I'm sleeping at night too. So I think we're doing well right now. We're getting updated by CDC and CDPHE constantly all day. I mean, over and over and over again. So whatever's coming down the pike, we're getting it immediately.
All right,
Good.
Okay.
And the other thing is just for everybody to take care of yourself. You know, don't go out if you're sick. All of the standard and plain and simple things. Wash your hands.
Correct.
Take care of yourself, and you can isolate yourself if you realize that your system is compromised, and take care of it. So.
And one of the big things that all the hospitals and CDPHE is trying to put out is to make people understand if you do have symptoms, if you feel like you have something that warrants going to the hospital, do not go to the hospital without calling them first. Even if you are in your car in the parking lot and you call them and say, I think I have symptoms, because if you do go in and you are symptomatic, you are thereby giving everybody else, that possibility of being exposed to the disease. So call your doctor, call your provider, call your hospital first before you go there. And don't come to the health department. We don't have test kits. All right? Yes, sir.
What's the format? Like what you just said there, should that be published in the paper or letters that don't go to the hospital?
I believe that
If somebody's going to go there, then how do we test them for that if we don't have test kits? How do they find them positive?
there are certain criteria that CDPHE and CDC have for a symptomatic person. If they fit one of those criteria, then they are determined to be needing a test. I do believe over at Southwest Memorial Hospital, they have signage that says if you are symptomatic or you feel like you have COVID, please do not come in. Please stay out in your car. They will have somebody come out and meet you. The Journal published a pretty darn good article not too long ago about where we are in the Southwest region, about preparing ourselves, and it was also mentioned in there. And then any CDC or CDPHE website that you go to will also state that as well.
It just seems to me we should have something on the radio. Something more
We can also do that.
that people, get the attention, don't go there because we're staying in here. And that's,
Right.
and if they're going to have a standard effect on us.
We can also put it probably on the radio. That's a good idea. I know that the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe has it on their TV station.
I don't know.
we don't have, Montezuma County Public Health doesn't have the bandwidth necessarily to have that much time spent doing those type of things, but if we ask the hospital to do it, to work with us, I'm sure that we can get something on the radio and some of those other venues.
Yeah, it just seems like 2-3 weeks to get test kits. We're not, no man's land in there that allows testing.
Well, right now, the hospital can do some testing, so they send that up to the CDC. If that person is symptomatic, they will send that test up to CDC. CDC will do the test itself. If it is positive, they're considered a presumptive positive, which means they're going to be treated as someone who's positive, but then that test goes to CDC.
It goes to CDPHE.
Did I say
All right.
CDPHE? I'm sorry, I've got my acronyms mixed up.
We're going to have
Okay.
to wrap it up so we can get
Okay.
back on track with that.
Anyway,
But
good
I'll
point.
just say this, Montezuma County's sitting on a healthy reserve. It's a rainy day fund. If this happens to be the rainy date, then we'll take care of it. So we're going to
Great.
stay on top of it. We're going to stay closely working with the state. And we're going to do everything in our power to keep our citizens as safe as possible.
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, can you go ahead and start with the first public hearing?
Commissioner Sukla,
Here.
Commissioner Tell,
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria,
Here.
Administrator Powers,
Here.
Attorney Baxter, and Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. 1 minute, sorry. I didn't start recording.
We're not here.
If we're not here, we might be somewhere else.
Okay. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed 2-lot minor subdivision and a 3-acre heavy industrial rezoning application submitted by Justin Hooten, POA for Billy Hooten, agent DanielHoch, on property located at TBD Road L, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 35.95 acres, more or less, located south of Road L, east of Road 26, situated in Section 24, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020, at 9 a.m., Commissioners' Hearing Room, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270, County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours. Dated this 14th day of February 2020, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. Don, Jane, can you give us an update on what we're doing here?
Yeah, can we have DanielHoch come up? So Dan is proposing a 3-acre lot there to be zoned heavy industrial. It's adjacent to the diesel tech shop, which is also zoned heavy industrial. The remaining 30, just under 33 acres, has no proposed development at this time. He's just looking at doing the 3-acre lot. He'll fence that in so he can store his concrete trucks and equipment and forms.
All right. Commissioners, any questions?
You're going to move your equipment yard, this basically
Yeah.
going to become your equipment yard and
Yes.
all of that there next to Diesel Tech? Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Does it meet all of the land use code regulations? and
Yes.
stuff?
Yes, and
Okay.
P&Z commissioners were unanimously to recommend it for approval.
They better be, because they've already got a driveway pulling off there. I've already seen the culvert and the driveway coming off there, so yeah.
All right, well, let's open it up,
Yeah.
public comment. If anybody would like to comment on this proposal, if you would come up to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and go back to the commissioners for a decision.
Yeah, this is a fit for what's going on coming down County Road L. I mean, they've got Candelaria Construction, you've got Diesel Tech, I mean, they've got the lighting place.
Everything on the
electric
south side of the
south
roadway
side's
but
all
one is all
Yeah,
commercial.
so I would move that the commission approved the 2-lot minor subdivision and 3-acre heavy industrial rezoning application submitted by Justin Hooten, POA for Billy Hooten, agent DanielHoch on County Road L, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
Motion is second to approve a proposed 2-lot minor subdivision and 3-acre heavy industrial rezoning application submitted by Justin Hooten, POA for Billy Hooten, agent DanielHoch on property located to be determined Road L, Cortez, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Done deal.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll close the public hearing.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Make sure you get that surveyed.
Yep.
Mylar done.
Then I believe we have a Mylar we need to
Yeah, it's signed.
sign.
Yeah, this next one's not a public notice, so we can go ahead and deal with it. Don't get down yet.
Don't
We
we
just have to approve it, right?
We need to have a ruling on it.
It's an after-the-fact exemption, so you'll need to vote on it.
Well, this on that house of Gordon Steves on County Road 22.
Right.
Okay,
It's just
It
house
was,
cleaning.
it was surveyed off,
right.
back in 95, 98, somewhere in there.
This number.
So he's just wanting to make it compliant with the land use code. He's had it surveyed, and there's, the house that's there is being leased, and I think they're wanting to purchase that property.
So
this
why
is
was it out of compliance?
Because it hadn't been.
'Cause all it was
Because
done
it
was-
hadn't went through anything.
It was just surveyed, and
Yeah.
then a house put in there,
Yeah.
and,
That was before the land use code, so now
Yeah.
he has to do house cleaning to just put it into compliance with the land use code.
So somebody can get a loan to buy it.
And it's separated, so they have the actual property separated.
yeah,
for
their
for the
acreage with the
purchase.
house, separate from all his ag property. But yeah, this was just surveyed and done without going through any process,
Sure.
anything.
I'm very familiar with that from my dad's house was the same way. So
Right.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, so he's just.
So now
getting
you
it-
get to pay the school and the road fees, and I mean, it's, I know this process well.
Any further discussion, commissioners?
I would like to move that the, after-the-fact exemption on property submitted by Gordon Steves located at 17714 Road 22, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.1 acres more or less, be approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the after-the-fact exemption resolution submitted by Gordon Steves on property located at 17714 Road 22, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 3.1 acres, more or less, located on east of Road 22, south of Road U. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Because this was started before.
Do we use the same paper? Does
Mhm. It doesn't.
Oh, it does.
It doesn't.
This one's been rolled up a while. Doesn't want to lay flat.
How many miles did you run?
48.
48 miles.
I'm not saying a word.
Well, we got a couple of minutes. I've been following our county administrator on Strava, and he ran 48 miles this weekend, preparing for the Pikes Peak Half Marathon.
Way to go.
Thank you.
48 miles.
Every 4 hours, so he would run 4 miles, and then he would
Stop and rest.
Take a nap. Yeah, every 4 hours I ran 4 miles on the hour.
because you get deprived of oxygen, is that what you said?
Sleep deprivation mimics oxygen deprivation. So you push through the fatigue like you would lack of oxygen. Tired muscles, tired brain.
I've got both of those. How do you push through that, man? Yeah, tell me.
You just keep going. You put one foot in front of the other until you fall down.
All right.
All right, we're ready for the next public hearing, the 9:20.
Probably not. It's not 9:20.
Commissioner Sukla,
Here.
Commissioner Tell,
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Administrator Powers.
Here.
Attorney Baxter. And Kim Purcell, County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed subdivision application for an amendment to the Mancus Ranches 11-lot major subdivision submitted by Ryan Griglak. Did I say that right? Agent Manus and Associates on property located at 42169 Road J.75, Mancus, Colorado, consisting of 3.35 acres, more or less, located north of Road J.75, south of Road 42, situated in Section 27, Township 36 North, Range 13 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020, at 9:20 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270, County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours. Dated this 14th day of February 2020, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. Does our planning director or assistant have any additional information?
Yeah, Ernie's not here, so I'll, it's an interior boundary line adjustment, but it's in a subdivision, so it goes through the subdivision amendment process. The property owner on the east is wanting to move their property boundary to the west so that they can accommodate a driveway up and around the hill so they can get to a buildable spot on that lot. And the adjacent property owner is agreeable to that. So it's just a boundary line adjustment.
They're
so-
just bulging out following that road so they can
Right.
access their property.
And that property to the south already has that access easement deeded in it when the subdivision was established.
So that's just a proposed new road or driveway? I mean, it looks like it exists going through Lot 8 to Lot 7, but it doesn't exist on Lot 10?
Right. Right.
they're just
It'll be built up around through that extra gained property.
Any further discussion, commissioners?
They're
All
all
right.
agreeable, all the notices were sent out, everybody's agreeable?
Yep.
So they're just selling off
The
that?
property owner to the east is also the developer of the subdivision, so he signed a non-opposition letter.
Okay.
Good enough.
At this time, we'll open up to public comment. If anybody would like to talk about this proposal, if you come to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and bring it back to the commissioners for a decision.
I think it complies, and if there's no opposition to anything, I would move that we accept the proposed subdivision application amendment to the Mancus Ranches 11-lot major subdivision submitted by Ryan Griglek, Agent Manus and Associates on property located at 42169 Road J.75, Mancus, Colorado.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the application for an amendment to the Mancus Ranch 11-lot major subdivision submitted by Ryan Griglak, Agent Major and Manus and Associates on property located at 42169 Road J.75, Mancos, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. At this time, we'll close this public hearing.
Right on time.
Mhm. Where you going?
Huh?
Where you going? They're on fire.
The single track is dry, and it is, where at? On all of it.
For now.
Till this afternoon.
Oh, this afternoon?
It's gonna rain. It's gonna start raining. It's gonna be a muddy mess up there, buddy. It's gonna get muddy.
Well,
Got a
we've
joke,
4
Jack?
minutes. I'll start with the first day of my report.
Okay,
Is that
fine.
all right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So the first day of last week, we took off. We left Cortez at 5:15 a.m., got to Durango, checked in. Everything went pretty well there. Got on our plane, had to de-ice, so we were an hour late leaving Durango. Got to DIA just in time to run from gate 86 to gate 12, which doesn't sound like a long distance, but it is a long distance when your plane is supposed to be leaving, and I think we had 5 minutes to get there. And remember, as I started this at 5:15 a.m., none of us have eaten breakfast. So we thought we'd have time to eat in DIA. That didn't work. Get on a plane, get to Washington at 2:57, and then tried to get a taxi and get to a motel room. And anyway, by the time we had something to eat other than a waffle cone or a
Pretzel package
or
on
a
the
pretzel
airline.
package. It was about 7 p.m. before we got to eat dinner. So 24 hours without any food is a long time to go.
You
So
can get
let
a
me
little
tell
grouchy. You can get a little grouchy, can't you?
well, you're just running. It wasn't. You didn't have time to get grouchy. You were running from position to position to try and get anywhere you wanted to be. And communication in Washington. Some of those taxi drivers don't speak real good English, and it's sometimes can be a struggle just getting to and from A to B.
And you can't understand them with their mask on.
And exactly, you can't understand them with a mask on.
Can't read their lips.
Can't read
can you?
lips.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to eat Friday night, we were beyond hangry,
You
and
were
we were
hangry.
pushing through
One of
whatever
those,
you wanna
one of those
call it.
physical barriers that come along, yeah.
So
Well, I'm glad you guys survived. You
our
guys-
first day, it was a very long day. So that's the first day, and I think we're on time.
We still got a couple minutes. You want to start with the second day? We do have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes.
Second
Well,
day,
the
2
second day was much better because we started out with a breakfast, which started at 7 o'clock, which was 5 o'clock Colorado time. So our shift had to change immediately. So our 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 5 a.m. days just rapidly increased. Monday, it was pretty much registration, opening ceremonies, getting to and from. But one of the biggest things that we talked about that night at our Colorado caucus was the community and economic workforce development. And right now, throughout the United States, we have 22,000 vacant, unoccupiable homes that the federal government owns for one reason or another, whether it's from, they've been deemed uninhabitable.
Yeah, condemned homes.
20, not necessarily condemned, just uninhabitable for whatever reason. 22,000, and we all talk about affordable housing and housing, but yet we're sitting on 22,000
Homes that are sitting there empty.
homes
and
that are just
deteriorating.
sitting there empty. So,
All right, we'll take up that again. We'll get back on track with our public notices, and so we have the 9:30 public hearing.
Commissioner Sukla.
Here.
Commissioner Tell.
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Administrator Powers.
Here.
Attorney Baxter is present or somewhere.
Temporarily out of order.
He's coming
There
back.
he
And
is.
Clerk Purcell.
He's back.
Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single lot development and rezoning application submitted by Justin and Aaron Schmidt on property located at 13657 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 50.57 acres more or less, located south of Road P, west of Road 21, situated in Section 1, Township 36 North, Range 17 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 30th, 2020, at 9:30 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270 at County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours. Dated this 14th day of February 2020, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. Don?
Justin? Justin's here for his application.
All right. Good morning, Justin.
Good morning.
So they're looking to subdivide off the property with the house and a little bit of acreage, and leave the remaining ag land vacant, basically for refinancing purposes.
Okay. Commissioners, any discussion?
The planning and zoning recommendation,
They were unanimous to approve.
unanimous, so it
it
meets
for-
every,
Or recommend it for approval.
all of the criteria for the land use code.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Anything, Commissioner Till?
Nothing.
All right, we'll open up to public comment. If anybody would like to comment on this proposal, if you come to the podium, state your name and address. Seeing none, we'll go back to the commissioners for a decision.
I would move that the single lot development and rezoning application, or no, excuse me, single lot development and rezoning application submitted by Justin and Aaron Schmidt on property located at 13657 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 50.57 acres more or less, be approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the proposed single lot development and rezoning application submitted by Justin and Aaron Schmidt on property located at 13657 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. At this time, we'll close the public comment, or the public hearing.
Short and sweet.
Thank you, Justin.
Got a surveyor lined up.
Yeah, we'll get that done. Here, I just wanted to make sure this happened first.
Perfect. Thanks.
Looks like we're on day 2, Commissioner Candelaria.
Okay. Well, we're still in our Colorado caucus, and we're now looking at resolutions and how they're going to be voted on. So still under Community Economic and Workforce Development, the proposed interim resolution on low-income housing and tax credit was passed. And I'm going to leave this book up here, or I'll give it to you guys to scan these and put them in there if you guys are interested in looking at them. The proposed interim resolution on FY 2021 appropriations for the Workforce Initiative and Opportunity Act, the WIOA, which is another acronym that nobody will ever realize without reading it, also passed. Our environmental, energy, and land use, our proposed interim resolution and implementation on the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, passed. The next one was a proposed interim resolution in support of the Energy Innovation of Carbon Divided Act, passed. And the proposed interim resolution on the National Estuary Program designation, passed. And the proposed interim
Estuary.
resolution on partnership of clean energy and rural development also passed. So those were all portions of the Colorado caucus. Actually, it's not day 2. It's still, actually, it is day 2, Saturday evening. And I'll stop there. I'll let you speak some on day 2.
Well, that first day, I'm the vice chair of public lands in NACO, so that'd be all of the counties, all of the counties of the United States, and we had 11 resolutions in public lands. Our meeting started at 9 o'clock and lasted till about 6 o'clock in the evening. One of the resolutions was a resolution that myself and Commissioner Darius Allen out of Alamosa wrote up, and it was with the help of James Dietrich, but it was to reinstate the RACs, which is the Resource Advisory Committees for the BLM. So when the BLM has proposals of any kind of a proposal of changes on BLM lands, they have this advisory committee, which they have been inactive. The former Secretary of Interior, Zink, did not like them, but now that we have the new Secretary, Mr. Barnhart out of Rifle, Colorado, he is for them. So all of those RAC appointments are made in Washington, D.C., and so that's where the bottleneck was. What's interesting about the 11 resolutions, there was 2 hours given for those 11 resolutions to take place, and they were, and then they were voted on in the afternoon. And those resolutions were, they didn't look like we were going to make it. There was a lot of controversial resolutions. One was a moratorium on wilderness study areas, wilderness designations, monuments.
Did that pass?
That did pass. It was wordsmith, but that did pass.
Sweet.
Ours, however, I could see that we were going to be gone, so when they have somebody that reads each resolution, and then they get up and they have you talk about the resolution, and then they open it up for debate with all the public lands members, which there's up to 400. And I just got up there and said that it was simple as that. Is there any questions? It took 5 seconds. Nobody get a question, and we were done. But there was a lot of debate about. One of the resolutions was a resolution that came over from the Environmental, Energy, and Economy Subcommittee, and it was to capture methane from the gas that they burn off, and they brought that over to the public lands. It failed in public lands, and it failed in the other committees. So that was that was actually brought by a commissioner from Santa Fe, New Mexico. So that was my first day, and so it worked. We passed the resolution, so we'll see where it goes. I did a resolution 2 years ago, I guess I got a couple minutes, on electronic logging devices when the federal government changed the electronic logging devices to where they put in all the semis for CDL drivers. And the angle that I took on that was I wanted an exemption for livestock. And so the majority of the lambs that are sold in Meeker, Colorado, which is about our last stronghold of sheep, is sold in California. So if you load the sheep that morning, which is you put about 600-700 head of sheep on there, and then they take them to California, you get to Yuma, Arizona, and then that electronic logging device will shut your truck off. And it's 100 degrees down there. You go to sleep, and when you wake up, you have 500 to 600 dead sheep. That's inhumane, and that actually passed. And that was actually one of the only resolutions 2 years ago out of NACO that actually was in the omnibus bill when the Congress passed their omnibus bill 2 years ago. So that was a good thing, and it just, you got to use common sense. People back in Washington, D.C. don't have a clue. They think that you can put 700 sheep in a hotel with air conditioning, I guess. But. All right, looks like we're on tap for our next public hearing.
Commissioner Sukla.
Here.
Commissioner Ertel.
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Administrator Powers.
Here.
Attorney Baxter. And Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed single-lot development and rezoning application submitted by Mark and Patricia Peters on property located at 6852 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 50.71 acres more or less, located south of Road G, east of Road 21, situated in Section 7, Township 35 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 9:40 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270, County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours. Dated this 14th day of February 2020, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. Mr. Haley.
Leaders here. This is Patricia Peters.
Hi.
morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
So they are looking at splitting off this small lot. I think it ended up being 3.65 acres. They are looking to put a trailer on there, separate from their residence on their remaining acreage. Planning and zoning was unanimous in recommending it for approval. They've got a driveway permit application, and they meet all the land use code requirements.
All right. Commissioners, any further discussion?
Just gonna develop this to sell, put a mobile home on there and sell it?
Probably as a rental property, have a
Rental
ranch
property?
hand.
Commissioner Candelaria?
I have nothing. I have no questions.
At this time, we'll open up the public comment. If you would like to comment on this proposal, if you come to the microphone and state your name and address. We're going to make a sweep on the public comment. This time, we'll close public comment and go back to the commissioners for a determination.
It meets all the criteria, so I would move that we accept the proposed single lot development and rezoning application by Mark and Patricia Peters on property located at 6852 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 50.71 acres, more or less, located south of Road G, east of Road 21.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve a proposed single lot development and rezoning application submitted by Mark and Patricia Peters on property located at 6852 Road 21, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 50.71 acres, more or less, located south of Road G, east of Road 21. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We'll close this public hearing at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you guys, do you want to sign the Mylar now, or wait until we go through the last public hearing and sign them both together?
We have,
We got two
We
of them.
got-
Let's just do them both
Oh,
together at
okay.
the end of the public
Yeah.
hearing. Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if you needed exercise or not.
We're not cramped up yet.
40,
Shaq's the only one
40
gonna
steps
cramp.
every 4 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Keep up with
Commissioner
Shaq.
Ertel, do you have anything for last week?
Oh, yeah, I got a bunch.
You want to
You
start
want me
off?
to go in it? Yeah.
Well,
Let me get a hold of
Okay.
this.
we can
Well,
piece.
let me just explain the last day and the ride coming home.
Yeah, give you lots of other opportunities.
Yeah.
We've got a couple more public hearings. I think your story's going to last a while, knowing you. So we better give you plenty of time.
So you want me to go
Yeah,
ahead?
go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
go
we're-
ahead.
Yeah, I was at the winter meeting with Club 20 in Grand Junction last week and went over their proposals and their legislative considerations for the one that Ed Millard and I were most interested in was the water meeting in the afternoon of last Friday. Very good meeting. Mr. Millard keeps fighting and proposing for our water rights and protection of our water here in southwest Colorado, as well as the whole upper basin and this demand management deal, which is going to be everybody ought to hang on to your hats, because there's going to be some real interesting stuff come to west slope of Colorado and water management. So did that for Thursday and Friday of last week. Then I went to a hazard mitigation kickoff meeting on Wednesday the 4th with Mike Pasquin, our emergency operations manager, who's leaving us, and sad to see him go, but hopefully it's going to be good for him. And we're reviewing our hazard mitigation plan, and you have to update those every 5 years. And so that was the kickoff meeting beginning that process. Hired a company called Wood Consulting that's kind of their bailiwick. That's what they do, is go in and review and update these hazard mitigation plans. So we just had a good kickoff meeting, got to meet the staff with Wood and who they're going to be working with. Jeff Brislon and Amy Carr are the contact people in that organization that are going to be doing that, basically that hazard mitigation update. Attended on the 6th of March, went to a Dolores River Native Fish Monitoring and Recommendation team out at DWCD, and I think I was substituting for Commissioner Sukla on that. And you know, it's I shouldn't say it's funny, but it's different how you can start going down a path and then it just gets broadened, and we're talking about all kinds of things other than the fish. So it was interesting, and very Ed Millard, our representative on the round table, and our IBC representative was there as well as myself. And I just finally during the meeting, I said, you know, I think we need to refocus our talk about the fish and not get into they were talking about the bankside conditions and the phreatophytes and all kinds of everything else there. And I said, you know, if I read this title correctly, it says Dolores River Native Fish Monitoring and Recommendation Team.
Good on you.
Not the whole. So anyway, that brought it back to focus, and it's interesting, you know. Here we're now, the focus is fighting to save three types of sucker fish in that river. Back when the dam was built, they killed off fish in that river and planted brown trout in that river for a trout fishery.
Yeah, they poisoned
them with rat. And now then the brown trout are eating up the chubs and the blue flannelmouth suckers, and so it's just, what day do you want what? You know, what day do you want? You want a trout fishery there, or do you want the native sucker fish doing well? Because you ain't going to have both. Now they've got bass down there that eat them up, and it's one of these deals that they create their own problems, and now they're trying to undo the problem. I mean, but the fear that rests in me is that they're going to be coming after our reservoir for more water to pour over that dam to make these native fish more viable. And that to me is the end goal of these environmental groups and different entities that are crying about protect these fish. They're wanting more water out of McPhee Reservoir to send it downstream to do all kinds of other things. So I think it's something this community and the people that follow us on this commission need to pay a lot of attention to. Is there's people all over the west and on our eastern slope that are coming after our water. And they're gonna attack it in many, many different ways, and here's one of them. So, interesting meeting for my first go.
Can I just comment on that? That it's a false narrative, because before we had the dam, the suckers thrived. If anybody knows much about a sucker, they like warm water, period. They don't like a stream running, and so before we had the dam, they dammed off the Dolores River, diverted all the water to the Cortez community, and we just had pools down there, and the suckers thrive. Go to Lake Powell. Where are they at? They're on the towards the surface where the water's warm. They like that kind of thing. They don't like that swift water, and they're actually going to be detrimental to those fish by increasing the flow instead of decreasing it. If they want to take care of those fish, well, first of all, 20 years ago, they added river otters to, what do river otters eat? Oh, they eat fish. And so there's where some of their suckers went. But they're just, in my opinion, they're making a lot of stupid decisions, and nobody will call them out, but I just did. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it will be interesting. Stay tuned. There's more to come. This will be an ongoing issue for a good long while in our community. So, are we at our time slot?
Yes, sir. We are.
Right on time.
Commissioner, 9:50, and we'll go to the 9:50 public hearing.
Commissioner Sukla.
Here.
Commissioner Attell.
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Administrator Powers.
Here.
Attorney Baxter. And Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed two-lot minor subdivision and rezoning application submitted by Gary Elson and Tova Spector on property located at to be determined Road P, Mancos, Colorado, consisting of 44.20 acres more or less, located north of Road P, west of Road 33, situated in Section 1, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 9:50 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270, County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours, dated this 14th day of February 2020. Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. Mr. Haley?
Tova, Gary, one or the other or both?
We can grab another chair.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, folks.
Morning.
So they are looking to subdivide the lower portion of their property. And actually, this is a two-lot moderate subdivision, not a minor. The bottom two lots will be roughly 4.6 acres each, leaving the remaining 35 acres to the north. So that's why it's a moderate, because the two lots don't average over 10 acres each. But that access drive, they actually have an easement that goes through their property and onto the adjacent property. But those first two lots will be fed by that existing driveway.
Which can you,
Which two?
yeah.
Can
Can
you
you
scroll
show
up,
us the-
Shaq? Did you put the plat on there? Did you put the new plat on the ground?
Oh, there, I
Okay.
got you. I got you. Those are the two lots right there on the bottom that
Right.
access comes through, gotcha.
And they've been reconfigured slightly. They kind of angle from the west to the east just so they can incorporate the 230-foot diameter circle that's required within a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the driveway to access the 35 acres above will be along the lot line. They're going to reconstruct the driveway.
So that
So they'll just kick it over to the left,
access
yeah?
is gonna go straight up the property
Yeah.
line
Straight up
instead of
the
over into
property
the
line.
neighbor's property?
Right.
So that's just a private driveway then,
Yes,
Yeah.
private driveway.
for now?
Well, it goes to the house on the eastern property.
Goes on up, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's a.
Yeah, would you guys, could you move the mic over there? Gary, you had something you wanted to say?
Just to clarify, the first two lots, the driveway's gonna stay the same, and then when it gets to the lot line, on the second lot, we're gonna take it right up to the existing road. You can barely see it. It goes on up.
Right, so they're gonna be split. The 35 acre lot, plus or minus, will have its own driveway at that point in time. Okay.
But it'll still have to go through that access, the original access, to
Off-road
get to
P.
it. Off-road
Yeah.
P.
Off-road P, yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
And the adjacent house to the east will still access
Mhm.
from P through those first two lots.
Right, right.
And the recommendations from the planning department, the
They were-
planning commission?
They voted unanimously to recommend approval. No stipulation.
They didn't recommend to make that driveway all on that 35 acre piece of property and with another access there?
Well, right now, they own the easement that runs through their first two lots into the eastern property and then back into their 35 acres. That's a dedicated easement to them prior to either them purchasing the property or the individual to the east. They had that road easement in place prior to closing on either property. But in order just to make it simpler, more direct. They are looking to build a road in the future there to the north to get to the 35.
As soon as weather allows, I told the neighbor that we would start constructing that.
Is that a gravel road or a dirt road?
It's a gravel road.
But that's just an orange road right now. That's all that would be, right?
private
60
drive.
foot, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a private drive.
Private drive can be whatever they want it to be.
But it has to, with the proposed subdivision, you now have 3 lots there, correct? You have proposed 1, 2, and then the third
Yeah.
one is the 35
35
acre
acre.
lot.
Lots, and then the 35 stands alone.
It's already a 60-foot easement.
Oh, it is, so it's already a 60
So
foot.
okay,
Gotcha.
I
Right.
guess that's where I was going.
Yeah.
That,
It's a 60
that
foot.
already exists, so
Yeah.
the easement
Correct.
follows that
Okay.
path that it currently is taken right now.
Okay. All righty, I would move that
Oh, I
the-
gotta-
Oh, excuse me, the public hearing, that's right.
No, we like your ambition.
Yeah.
At this time, we'll open it up to public comment. If anybody would like to make a comment on this, please come up to the podium, state your name and address.
County Road 31 Memphis. I'm just curious, since they're going to.
Is that on? I'm sorry, Ellen. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
There you go.
I'm just curious, since they're going to build a new easement there up to the 35 acre piece, if they'll vacate the section that's on the property to the east.
Yes, that's the agreement between ourselves and the neighbor. And then, in fact, that he would vacate his portion of the easement, that he would construct a new road for his own place. And so, and you know, the time frame, that's up to him.
Mhm.
We don't really care about that, but that's the agreement, the verbal agreement. We have a telephone verbal agreement.
It looks like it's a canyon, so is he gonna go through the lot 1 and 2, and then he would construct, or?
It's actually, no, it's actually, it's not as bad as it seems. It's kind of a gentle 2% slope.
Oh, okay.
Approximately. And so the county already said that they already looked at it and that there wouldn't be a problem, another easement or another
Driveway
So
access.
another driveway
going
permit
like that.
off of County Road P, so in other words, it's gonna follow the red lot line?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
And I guess that'll be a condition of your approval.
I'm not certain that would have to be a condition of our approval. That's up to the 2 property owners,
They
yeah.
own the easement.
Yeah, so whatever they work out between them's
Yeah.
Okey
good
doke,
with them.
thank you.
I mean, I don't see that as a condition for us to approve this.
There's already a 60-foot right-of-way right now through those 2 properties, 1 and 2.
Is there any other public comment on this proposal? Seeing none, we will close the public comment portion of the public hearing and go back to the commissioners for decisions.
Now?
Whenever you'd like to, sir.
I would move that the determination of a 2-lot minor subdivision and rezoning application submitted by Gary Ellison and Tova Spector on property located at to be determined Road P, Mancos, Colorado, consisting of 44.2 acres more or less, and located north of Road P and west of Road 33, be approved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve a proposed 2-lot minor subdivision rezoning application submitted by Gary Ellis and Tova Spector on property located to be determined Road P, Mancos, Colorado, consisting of 44.20 acres more or less, located north of Road P, west of Road 33. All those in favor?
And
Aye.
just one second,
Oh.
can you amend that to be a 2-lot moderate instead of a minor?
Oh, you're right. Yes, I will correct my motion to a 2-lot moderate as opposed to a 2-lot minor subdivision.
There's been an amendment to change the minor to moderate subdivision and rezoning application with the rest of the information applying accordingly. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is closed at this time. Good luck. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, no, we're right on time.
All right, at this time, we will go to our last public hearing. Kim?
Commissioner Sukla?
Here.
Sorry, lost it. Commissioner Ertel?
Present.
Commissioner Candelaria?
Here.
Administrator Powers?
Here.
Attorney Baxter? And Kim Purcell, County Clerk. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for a review and determination of a proposed single lot development and rezoning application and variance application submitted by Donald Wilson on property located at 23200 Road M, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 61.10 acres more or less, located south of Road M, east of Road 23, situated in Section 16, Township 36 North, Range 16 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 10 a.m. Commissioners' Hearing Room, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Department, Room 270, County Administrative Building, Cortez, Colorado, or accessed online at http://montezumacounty.org, Web Departments Planning. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. This file can be inspected in the Planning Department during regular office hours. Dated this 14th day of February 2020, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Tuesday, February 18th, 2020.
Thank you, Kim. We'll turn it over to our planning department for further information.
Yeah, Mr. Wilson, he's sick, so he won't be present today.
He called this morning.
He's in the process of dividing off that parcel that his daughter lives on. He's working to set up his estate and stuff. So he's wanting to divide off that 3.3 acres from the remaining property. Like I say, his daughter lives on that. And along with the application is a variance. The house just to the west of the new property line is
Too close.
encroaches, yeah, it meets the 50-foot setback for the daughter's house, but the other house is less than 50 feet.
Because
So
there's a
that-
fence line there.
So there's a variance application for that setback on that house. But that west property line matches up with the existing fence
Fence
line
line.
from the last 40 years,
Yeah.
30 years.
Who lives in that property on that west house? Is that Mr.?
That's his son's house there in the middle, and then Mr. Wilson lives on the far left.
Far left, yeah.
Yeah, in his parents' old house.
That house has been there since before 1900.
Mm-hmm. No objections on the brother having that property line and run that fence line?
No, he's fine with it. There's actually an easement that'll be recorded onto his sister's property for access to the irrigation control gate, whatever. So they're fine with it.
Yeah.
All right.
So what was the variance again? Just the 50 feet
It's
off of
the
the,
setback distance
off
from
of the
the
property line?
from the middle house to that eastern property line.
So it meets the setback to the proposed acreage?
Right.
Mhm.
That
It meets the
50
feet
50 foot
complies
to
with
the,
his,
to the house on the east, but not to the west. And there was no sense to try and split it and not follow the fence lines.
Yeah, it's been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know Mr. Wilson very
And
well.
I think that setback's around 26 feet, wasn't it, 23?
Yeah.
Any further discussion, commissioners?
No, I would just here again like to see that 50-foot. It's just these variances continually come up, and it's, in my opinion, it's just too restrictive.
Yeah.
And I think we should go through that process to move those setbacks back. I've asked this of the planning
Planning and
before,
zoning
and they continually
has-
say they just don't want to do it, but
Well, they've recommended 4 times now that they do not believe that it needs to be changed. It can be viewed on a case-by-case basis. The same as this. This is the 7th one we've done in 14 months.
And
So
they've all been cases where they're estate planning. And
Correct, I
they're just
understand that.
correcting the property. So, and it's not something that is, they're just doing.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we continue and finish up this public hearing? Then Commissioner Candler, if you would like to make a motion after this to take this to a public hearing, I would second it, and then we could have some more in-depth conversation about that.
Well, it's too restrictive. No, and I realize this is existing and it's just to bring this into compliance, but I still think that the 50 feet is too restrictive. And I've asked that several times, but it just keeps coming back that it's not
Well,
restrictive.
I can
so-
only answer you what
I
they,
understand that. So
how they
we
feel and how
can-
they vote.
Yeah.
We can then move it forward to make a change if that's what we decide to do.
Well, you can
And
just.
we have to
you
go
make
through
a
the
mo-
process.
You make a motion for a public hearing on it, and I'll second it. And
Well,
let's move
first
forward. If
it
we
has
don't
to
do that,
be, it-
we just talk about it.
Well, there's
it's
a
your
process.
recommendation to the P and Z, then they have 30 days to review it and give their decision, and then it comes back to you guys.
Right, so we just have to go through that process. I understand there's a process. So anyway, killing time here.
Well,
So I would move that we,
No, you guys, I tell you, I don't know what kind of coffee you guys had today, but boy, you gotta give me some of that stuff next time. At this time, we're gonna have a public hearing. If anybody would like to come up to the podium, state your name and address for a comment on this proposal from Mr. Wilson. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment and let Commissioner Candelaria proceed.
okay, so I would move that we accept the proposed single lot development and rezoning application and variance application submitted by Donald Wilson on property located at 23200 Road M, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 61.10 acres, more or less, located south of Road M.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve proposed single lot development and rezoning application and variance application submitted by Donald Wilson on property located at 23200 Road M, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 61.10 acres, more or less, located south of Road M, east of Road 23. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. At this time, we'll close this public comment. And would you like to make a motion to?
I would. Again, I'm gonna ask that we go through the process and then out to a public hearing to see what the public has to say, because I think it's too restrictive. I think it's an arbitrary number. I've asked, and nobody can really give me the definition of why it's that 50 feet.
Well, there's no number that's not gonna be arbitrary.
Well, but you can make a number, like say it's half of that, where you can get a swather through there or something of, I mean, I just think it needs to be reviewed. If we don't look at it, I think it's just too
That's
restrictive.
your
I may be
prerogative.
wrong, but I would like to put it back to the planning to go through that process to see if that can be reduced. I think 50 feet is too restrictive, just an opinion.
Is
So-
this just for the residential, or is it for all the buildings?
I think it's for all of them.
So is this in the form of a motion that
Yes,
we
it
are
is.
going to have a
So moved.
second? There's been a motion and a second to have a public hearing, go through the process about the 50-foot setback throughout Montezuma County. We will have our planning department start the process, and, well, we better see if, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry. I guess I had a
Now
little of
who's
that
getting
coffee
ahead
as
of
well.
himself?
All right. All right, well, if you proceed with Commissioner Candelaria's request. Anything else?
Time to sign.
Couple of Mylars, eh?
And James Anderson's coming. You saw the text last night.
Yeah, I skimmed it over. I didn't realize, I couldn't figure out if he was gonna come early or late or whatever. I didn't pay
Yeah,
attention
it's not
to
a
it.
farmer concern. So put them off till next week.
We could probably be okay.
I'm just very concerned. I just don't want to be the one to break his heart.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I don't think it's real important that we have a succession plan.
Oh, it'll be fun.
For if he does pass
Whether
away.
it passes or not.
You know, I've come up with a
Give
succession
people,
plan.
lead people, get people excited.
People can carry it with them
like the coronavirus, you know?
right there.
Hey, you know what? They've got a cure for the
Bam.
coronavirus?
It's just not the
Lyme's
same.
disease.
I mean, it's faster and more effective and more
Lyme's
accurate, but besides that, it's
A
just.
cure
not the same.
for the coronavirus.
You're correct, it isn't the same.
That's a disease in itself.
Things that are different are not
Think
the
about
same.
Lyme?
All right, we will close the planning and zoning land issues this morning, and we're going to go to public comment. If you would like to address the commissioners, please come up to the podium, state your name and address.
Thank you, Planning and Zoning, for a productive morning. You got a lot done, that's good.
Seeing this kind of activity, it means we've got things going on in the county.
Exactly.
That's good.
DanielHoch, 7672 County Road, CC, Pleasant View. I'm glad to see that you gentlemen are going to address some of the shortcomings of the planning and zoning ordinance, because it has been, well, it hasn't been updated for lots of years, and it does need to be updated. Setbacks are a valid thing to address, but there are other things that need to be addressed also, and I would hope that you would address a whole bunch of things at that time. For example, one of the things that have been brought up over and over again is the definition of temporary. You give temporary permits for things like oil wells that will be in operation for 50, 100 years, who knows, maybe longer than that. Is that a proper use of the term temporary? There are discrepancies between the sound levels allowed in the P&Z ordinance and state law. Those probably should be looked at. It seems reasonable that they should be the same, but at least it should be addressed. Leanne had a whole list of things that needed to be addressed in the planning and zoning ordinance, and I don't know what happened to that list when she left, but over the years, people have brought up a number of issues, and I would hope that you would do a comprehensive look at the P&Z ordinance rather than just look at one issue at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Gail. Is there any other public comment?
Is this on? Yeah. My name is Mary Dodd, and I live at 1324 Melrose, and I'm here again to thank people. So I'd like to read a letter of thanks, 2 letters of thanks, actually, if I may, and then submit them. On behalf of the Montezuma County Democrats, I wish to thank County Clerk, excuse me, and Recorder Kim Purcell, I don't have COVID, and her professional staff for maintaining 2 voter registration hotlines open on caucus day from 1:30 to 2:30 in case any of our precincts needed assistance establishing voter eligibility to participate in precinct caucuses. Additionally, I extend my great thanks to Kim for providing us with 11 new precinct maps and an official list of all registered Democrats in Montezuma County. I realize that these actions are part of the job, but Kim and her staff perform their duties with professionalism and courtesy and are greatly appreciated. They deserve extra recognition for their service to the county. Thank you, Kim. And this one is on behalf of the Montezuma County Democrats, but particularly myself. I want to extend my appreciation for County Administrator Shaq Powers' help when I encountered a real challenge on March 6th. I went to the Montezuma County Annex for a scheduled pickup of the Annex key and checklist for the Montezuma County Democrats caucus to be held the next day. It was 1:40 p.m. and no one was there, and the offices were closed for the day, so I was unable to get the key or the checklist. And I immediately thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I drove to the county offices and went to Shaq's office, and he was there. He interrupted his work to hear my story. He invited me to sit down, and he made one phone call and promised me the doors would be unlocked on Saturday at 11:30 p.m. And they were. And we were able to get in and start setting up for the caucuses. And sometime afternoon, to my surprise, I guess when you were doing your 4-hour runs or in between one of those 4-hour runs, Shaq showed up to make sure that everything was okay. And he also said to call him if we had any difficulties. And these actions were above and beyond the call of his duty and his professional responsibilities. And to me, they are indications of an exemplary professional and representative of Montezuma County, and he has my respect and gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Marion. Is there anybody else that would like to come up?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Adams, 14456 County Road 35.9. I am Secretary for Operation Graduation, a community-sponsored program which provides a safe and fun and substance-free alternative for Dolores High School seniors to celebrate their graduation. In years past, we've held this celebration at the Rec Center. However, with the change of the graduation date this year, we are unable to hold it there. We have been granted permission to hold this celebration at the fairgrounds, which we're grateful for. In addition, the Operation Graduation Committee is requesting a fee waiver for this event at the fairgrounds to be held on Thursday, March 14th.
Commissioners, is this the first you've made this request?
Yes.
At this time?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have to do that today. I think we can.
Larry Copeland's in the back if you want his.
Oh, is he? I was going to say we could probably get with the fairgrounds manager and find out what.
Okay.
Well, he's here. Let's show the city council how to do it. Let's make decisions as they come.
Have you talked with Larry Copeland to see that space and time is available for you to?
Yes, it's been granted to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many people do you expect to be there?
Well, I believe there's about 30 graduates, and they're allowed a +1, and then we'll have chaperones.
So you're graduating in March?
Yeah, can you believe it? No, May 14th.
Oh, you said March 14th.
Oh, did I say March 14th? Oh, I'm sorry.
Coming up here in a week or two.
Oh, no, May.
Well, okay, thank you. I
Yeah.
thought it was, did I hear that right? Did I hear March? Okay.
I'm
all right.
sorry.
All right. I thought we were right on a hot wire
Right.
here in
No.
a couple of days doing this, so. Larry,
I guess I would like to hear Larry's recommendation because
Sure.
we don't want to circumvent our department. heads
no,
of what they're
absolutely
doing.
not. We need to see how that stacks up with him.
What do you have to say, Larry, about this
May 14th.
proposal?
First of all, they do have the.
Can you speak into the mic? Please say it to the mic. Remember, everybody has to hear this.
Yeah, this is being streamed. Yeah. Yeah, put on your give them your best side and talk loud.
Sorry, Larry.
No, they have contacted me about using the building on the 14th of May. This is the first I heard about the waiver of the
fees.
The fees. I mean, they talked about it, and I did tell them that they would have to go through you guys to get it done.
How much? How much is it?
I think they're like $350 a day or
So
something.
youth event for the indoor is $225. $450 for adults, $225 half price.
How often do we waive the fee? Have we waived the fee?
As far as I know, I don't think we ever have since I've been here, but this is their first year.
Mm-hmm. Did the community center used to waive their fees for you and Dolores to do your graduation?
You know, I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
And I'm not sure about the rec center either. I had a feeling that question was going to come up, and I should have done my research.
I guess, what position is it gonna put you in, Larry? Because you're gonna ask, everybody's gonna ask you to waive a fee.
Yeah.
And then everybody's gonna
So-
come here and ask you guys.
I know.
Correct, and is that really, trust me,
No, I understand.
really believe in what you're doing
Sure.
with the kids' graduation, but if we start waiving one fee,
We can't deny.
we're gonna
another.
end up waiving all of the fees, and then we're gonna go backward with the fairgrounds. So I'm really curious to hear what your recommendation is on whether to waive or not waive.
I mean, I'm in the same boat as you. You start now, you're gonna have to do everybody. It's a good cause. It keeps the kids out from doing what they would normally do. I mean, I believe in what you're doing, and I understand what you're saying. So as far as, I mean, for lack of a better word, I'd say we don't waive them, because then we're gonna start a landslide.
Doesn't the Dolores schools, can't they provide you, you're talking 30 students and there may be 60, 70, 80 people? Is that what you're talking about as far as your crowd?
I would say 80 sounds like a lot.
Like a lot?
Yeah.
The Dolores school system can't provide you a place to do your graduation party for their students?
Do you know that we have gone around and around about this for months, and typically it's at the rec center, but the graduation date has changed so dramatically to a Thursday that they are not willing to budge and have us hold it there.
No, but at the rec center.
Right.
What about the school district property, the gymnasium or something there on the school property, school ground?
Right, and I think that there's a feeling of these kids have been there for years and years and maybe want to celebrate somewhere else, just to have a change of scenery. And I think that they would be willing to, and that was on our list as far as an option. And we had a meeting with the seniors as well, asking, where would you like to hold the celebration? And the fairgrounds did come up. So we've been exploring all these different places, and with time drawing near, the fairgrounds consented to us being there, which was great. So
I've got an idea.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So I'm just looking at one of the flyers that I brought back from Washington of Secure Rural Schools. We have 50% of those funds that are discretionary to us. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Would it hurt, since this is still a school function and this money is split between the 3 school districts, if we're not necessarily waiving the fee, but we're going to move $225 from SRS to the fairgrounds? That way we're not waiving a fee, we're just using it for a school function for SRS. I mean, if you guys could live with that. It's not much, it's $225.
No, I know it's not much, yeah.
Well, I'm all for that, but I actually have a whole different take about the whole situation. We were trying to build an event center because we didn't have any place to hold these kind of functions. The fairgrounds, the purpose of the fairgrounds at the beginning was for children, kids, youth of our community. The county's sitting on $18 million in reserves, and we can't give our school children, our teachers don't get paid enough in the first place to have a function so that they can graduate. They finally did something. If you want to hurt somebody, hurt those ones that quit school. So I am 100% for yours. If I had my druthers, we wouldn't charge any of the schools anything to use the fairgrounds, period. And as far as if we're going to do variances all the time because each situation's different, then what is the difference about each organization if they are requiring or asking for a fee waiver? We do it at the over at the annex all the time, so it's not like it's our first rodeo. So is that a motion, Commissioner?
I would like to use $225 of the SRS funds to supply this so that you are held whole and those funds are used within our discretionary powers, and that you would have those fees to you are taken care of by the SRS. That is a motion.
Sounds fair to me. I'll second that.
There's been a motion and a second to transfer SRS funds to pay for the graduation for is it the Dolores?
Dolores High School.
it's Dolores.
Dolores High School. Tell them on behalf of Montezuma County, have fun. And congratulations for sticking it all through
Yeah.
in making it.
Well, thank you all very much. I appreciate the fairgrounds
Are you going to call for
and
a
all of
vote?
you.
Oh, all those in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye. Coffee, sorry.
Now you're way ahead.
Thanks.
All right, I believe that.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, public comment.
Dan.
Ellen Foster, County Road 31, Mancus. Given the wild swings in the stock market over the past week, and especially yesterday's 2,000-point drop, I'm wondering if the commissioners have been reconsidering the amount of the county's reserve count. In the 2020 budget, the commissioners approved a transfer of $5 million from the general fund to the Road and Bridge Department for an expanded list of road projects. Price of oil closed at $35 yesterday. Price of natural gas hasn't been this low since March of 2016. Kinder Morgan stock lost 20% of its value since last Tuesday. And in light of these startling low values, I'm just wondering if the commissioners have consulted anyone about the possibility that revenue from Kinder Morgan could be much less than was projected for the 2020 budget. I don't mean to be a nervous Nelly, but there's all kinds of speculation going on out there about global recession even. I'm not saying I'm on board with that, but it's out there. And so I'm wondering if the commissioners have discussed it at all, and if you would consider holding back some of the $5 million in road projects for your reserve account.
For me, absolutely 100% no. I think we move forward. Oil's cheaper, pavement's cheaper. If anything, it would we would do more roads. And I'm sure the way the government works, if we leave it in there, they'll figure out a way to waste the money, and all the taxpayers won't get to use it in the long run anyway. So I would am 100% against being a wobbly, whatever, nervous Nelly. Move forward, get the job done, improve the infrastructure, and our county will benefit in the long run by the improved infrastructure. So my answer is 100% no. Leave the money where it is and move forward.
I will answer when it's my turn to talk.
I'm done. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening right now, so when I go
I'm
through my
finished.
reports, I will give you my answers.
Oh, okay. No comment? Nope.
All right, anybody else, public comment? We're having a lot of fun, so come on up.
Good morning, Mindy Nelson, Road N. I'm here today to bring to your attention about what the Chamber and the Cultural Center has applied for, which is a program called Craft Studio 101 program. As much as we all appreciate Rebecca Levy to be a loyal employee and a board member with the City of Cortez, I strongly believe currently Rebecca should focus on the actual work on hand, on her desk, and not expand her workload with another adventurous project like the Craft Studio 101 program. The experience of the new land use code is an example of an important, detailed information that had been missed by Rebecca. The presentation of the Craft 101 presented to the council the public as grant opportunity on 2/25/20 had no clarity to the purpose and conditions of the grant. No education was provided to the public about the grant. The city and the county not directed solely to the city. This is about a larger land and not the parks within city limits. The city doesn't control public lands. Has she presented Craft 101 to Montezuma County BOCC? Do both the county and the city support the Cultural Center financially? And if so, does the local government know that the money is being used for and the expenses approved with what it is used for? Craft 101 follows the rules from the United Nations called sustainable tourism. Maybe Rebecca could explain the term sustainable tourism to all of us. This is a very specific grant with strings attached that may make it not worth pursuing. The failure of the land use code and the leadership disposition Rebecca has proven during several presentations to the council, citizens, and the public. I am not sure that the presentation at the last city council was the first time the council learned about the Craft 101, and this is a notification for the public and council already having knowledge about the grant, and the grant may have been approved already in the past. This is a grant that requires a membership. It's a 25% match, and at the end may cost more money to the taxpayers than it is worth in the first place. Do we know how much time has been spent so far in this grant? Time does translate into money.
All right, thank you, Minnie. This is the first I've heard of it. So.
Okay, there we go. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sounds pretty dangerous.
Is there anybody else public comment? All right, at this time we will close public comment. I believe the weather update has been moved to next week because of the prior engagement from the weather.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Shaq, for taking care of that. We'll go to the gravel crusher discussion with Montezuma County's road supervisor, Rob Engelhardt. For those out in the crowd that don't know, there's this budgeted capital. Is this going to be put up on the screen, or?
No, we're not going to talk.
Okay.
We'll talk tons instead of dollars, unless
Okay.
you guys decide differently.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rob.
How are you guys today?
Good so far.
Okay. So this morning, I was here a couple of weeks ago and we discussed the possibility of exploring purchasing a crusher that would increase our production 35 to 45%. And I feel sometimes like maybe I'm still not giving you enough information to help me make that decision on whether to move forward. Honestly, I believe it's a good decision. It's from what I'm hearing this morning, there's a lot of conversation about spending your money wisely and using it wisely and using our budgets wisely. And I think this fits very well because it gives us what we want without large investments. So the first picture on the screen this morning, actually, while I was in the process of digging into some information to bring before you this morning, up pops this advertisement from Cedar Rapids, which is the owner of LJ, the old LJ Crushers, which, you know, we all grew up on around this country. Back in the day with Mountain Gravel, we all ran LJs. That was the best crusher on the market. Everybody knew it, bar none. They were called the LJ Classic. So back in 97, 98, this happened in a project that I was lead project superintendent on. These are crushers we use in Southern California to produce 24 million ton in 24 months. That's a million ton a month. I bought these crushers basically, and they gave me the task. This is Atkinson International, Morrison Knudsen, Zachary, 3 big hitters. For some reason, trusted me enough to buy some crushers as a young man. I thought, all right, I'll go back to my old school way of doing it. And we bought these classics. They're great crushers. They did their job. But I found out later there was a lot of better crushers. There was a lot of better technology. There was better ideas. And we did well. We made our million ton a month quotas, and we finished the job and probably lost our butt like everybody else does in that business. But the truth be, there's nothing wrong with a classic, except if you're looking for more production or if you're looking for more shape or particle sizing, you can do better. And I learned a valuable lesson on that. So here they are still using our pictures. I wish I had a copyright on that. I'd be rich, but I don't. As an advertisement in 2020. So they're a very stable crusher. And it tells you that we did our homework when we went out and shopped with these kind of guys. So next sheet, Shaq. What we did was then I went in and I got the information out on a roller cone classic and a roller cone 2. The first sheet there is a roller cone classic. And I've highlighted in blue what the throughput of one of these crushers is, and they range from, I should have worn my glasses, 127 to 153 ton an hour. I also highlighted in yellow what the net product is, and that's 98 ton an hour to 114. And they give you an average to look at. So then I went and pulled up the roller cone 2, same model, just a new style, higher speed, which is what we're looking for currently. And that same number, if you look to the left in the red, you've got a 25% recirculating load on a classic versus a 22% on a roller cone 2. Now that's a big number. That's 3% less gravel going through your wear parts. That's 3% less times around and around and around to get the final number output, which saves a lot of money in the long run. If you also look at the numbers on the left in the red, 127 and 95 from the previous page lined up against the roller cone 2, you'll see on the low side of your gross throughput, you jump quite significantly, 45% increase. If you look at the yellow for net production, it jumps up 48% increase. That's the difference between a classic and a roller cone 2. There's a lot of groups of people out there, and special interest groups, that don't want to talk about it or don't want to listen to it or don't believe in it, but these are the facts. That's what we learned in Southern California, and that's what we're showing you today. And these numbers aren't numbers I made up. These are facts. You can go to Cedar Rapids and get it. You can go to Metso. You can go to JCI. You can go to any of the big hitters, and they're going to show you charts like this, and they're going to show you the same thing. That's why they designed them to be faster, tapers better, bigger rock can go in, and they do a better job of crushing. And it's just the facts. Well, to back all this up, we did a test, several months ago. We took a roller cone 2, put it in our lineup, 200 horse, and by golly, it worked. We got 35%. Actually, it was closer to 40, but some people didn't want to believe that. So I'm here again to show you the facts. It does work. We proved it. So if you want more information, I'll be glad to try to dig you some more up, but I can only go so far, and pretty soon I'm just out of ideas, So basically, then this last sheet, or the sheet here that Shaq is showing us now, we're going to go back to some of those numbers we did. We took our county crusher that we have, which is a classic, and we showed you what it costs per ton to produce with it. We also showed you the rental crusher, which is a roller cone 2. We applied a 33%, no, what was it, a 30, what did I do there? I forgot where I put it, a 30% increase to it, and I brought our cost down to $206 a ton. And I also showed you that if I went to a 54-inch crusher, basically, I could get it to $1.92. The trouble with that is,
you change everything.
You change everything. You unplug what fits and you plug in something that doesn't, and you're going to buy a jaw and a generator and conveyors and more screens and all that. That's great, but that's not what we want. We want to increase our production about 35 to 40% across the board to match what we hired a contractor, Wimanoich Construction, to come in and do for us for about $252,000. They got 40,000 ton made for us, so we can do every year, which is the price of one of these crushers now. Across the board, you're looking at about $300,000 for a crusher, a used one, not a new one. Now, we went through that a couple of weeks ago. New ones are out of touch. I don't even want to go there. So, I like this Cedar Rapids crusher because it's simple, it's easy to operate, it's bulletproof. It doesn't have to have a lot of oil and heaters and year-round apparatuses to keep them running. You got one pump and it keeps everything lubricated, and it fits what we do. It fits our way of doing business. If you want to go to a Metso, or if you want to go to one of these higher speed cones that have brass bushings and brass bearings in it, you got to go to a lot of oil and a lot of trouble, have generators running all night long during the winter to keep your oils up around 70 degrees, and there's a lot to it. Now, will they produce? Absolutely. They'll run away from one of these, but it costs a lot of money to make them run. So I'm trying to keep it within our model, within our size, and simple. And that's where I'm at with the idea of this type of crusher. So,
And still get a 35 to 40%
and still get a
production
35 to
increase.
40%. No matter what everybody around us says.
Yeah.
These are the facts.
So I guess my first question, Rob, if you're done.
No.
I'm not.
I'll listen to your question, but I'm
don't
not
want to
going
interrupt you,
to.
but my first question is, are we needing 35% more production for gravel that we're putting? Are we creating more new roads? I mean, if we're going to create more production, we obviously, what are we seeing for, are we building new roads or what are we doing?
So,
First question
good
number
question. That's a really good question, because 6 years ago when I came here, the roads needed gravel. And in 6 years, we've hired a contractor to catch us back up from the demand that we are on graveling. Now, we didn't gravel every road. We graveled about 50% of the roads. We got about 50% more to go, but they were in good shape when I got here. So now they're showing signs of wear, but the roads that we did gravel 6 years ago, in the last 5 years, they're rolling over. It's time to start hitting them again. So the demand for 100,000 to 140,000 ton a year is pretty predominant, you know. Now, I've slowed down. We're not hauling gravel today because I've got about 50,000 in inventory at Hay Camp, 0 at Mancus, 0 at N.M.P, and we're producing out of Ormiston to get ready for this year's work.
So about 100,000 ton a year? Is that
Doesn't do the job. But
So-
140 would catch us back up,
So what are you producing now?
about 100,000 a year.
So you, okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, no, go
Just-
ahead, I'm just,
When do you think that all the road projects that we are set to do this year, when will you think they will be completed?
When will it be what?
The road projects that we have slated for this year, what do you think the time frame is when they would be completed?
The paving will be done, hopefully by July, middle of July, I mean. That's the overlay projects. They're due to start if the weather holds up around May 1st-ish and complete middle of July. The chip seal roads, fortunately, we don't have to put a lot of gravel on those this year. We were doing roads that were gravelled 3 years ago, and that's a benefit to us to not have to do it again. So I would say they'll be late August, to be honest with you, before they're completed with chip seal.
Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
with that kind of an increase, when you're looking at a 40% increase or 35, whatever that is, what do we have in the reserves out of your 2 pits? Because if we're gonna use those, if we're gonna increase that much in production, our reserves are gonna go through a lot quicker. So what do we have out of those pits as far as reserves? Because we have to look at that also. I mean, do we even have enough to increase that
Yeah.
that much to take care of
Yes.
what we have in reserves?
Yes.
I've never seen a survey or any data that shows what we have in reserves at any of the pits.
Well,
So
the
do
Forest
we have
Service
that?
at Ormiston, that one moves with us. And 5 years ago, we thought we were done because we didn't have any more cleared, any more archaeological sites cleared. And since then, we've cleared several more acres, and we've got an easy, another 10-year run on it. Those are 5-year contracts. And the Forest Service is currently exploring about opening up more for us up there.
But that's a specific pit to just.
Well, I'm just, that's one.
Right, okay.
Montezuma is a BLM pit, and we have an agreement with the BLM, and it's a large enough area, acreage-wise, that we see another easy 10 years out of that pit by developing more, and we have the work plans there to do so. Mancus we own, and if we had to just solely move out of Mancus only, it'd last another 5 years. But the way we use that pit and the way we use that gravel, there's many years of service left in that one. And Hay Camp is probably anybody's guess. I mean, it's kind of, we know the acreage, and we know the area, and if it keeps running like it is, it could be another 15 years. But we're still looking for more, and I want to get more, and I've got some ideas. But yeah, we're never going to quit graveling, whether I leave or stay or die. We're going to have to gravel these roads.
I understand that,
so.
and
I know.
I get that. I'm just saying, I mean, if we're looking at this much of an increase, you have to have the reserves to supply it. And we don't have any data there yet.
Yeah, I have the data, but you never asked for it. So
Okay,
we
well,
also have the idea that if you can increase this production a little bit more, 30%, you're not going to put a lot of overtime into your maintenance, repair, and running. You're going to allow these guys to back off, work on their equipment, do it on straight time and not do it on overtime, and keep up with these production demands. So there's a big issue there too that we've never discussed. So it buys us time to do things too, so. More questions?
Yeah, I have dollar questions. I look at this, and this is on an auction, and you're at.
Okay, can I start at the first?
Yeah,
here?
absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, you last time, yeah, good point, said, why don't you reach out and see what's out there other than just one source? So I did. And one of them's already sold, so it's off the list, so this is a new list. General Equipment out of Fargo, North Dakota, has a 2001 used crusher, and I'm gonna warn you about used crushers. A new one can be just as dangerous as an old one. All you gotta do is forget to put the oil in it or start the pump. So, and I've tell people like Randy or Alan back there, the only difference is some of them have new liners and some have used liners. So you have to kind of take that into stride. There's no real hour meter to read or things like that. There just isn't. You gotta know what you're looking at and go inspect your crusher and pull the trigger and hope for it. These are supposed to be pretty good crushers. They want, right now it's listed at $330,000 out of a website, General Equipment. Power Equipment has one in Albuquerque. They're still sitting on $375, but they're negotiating. We're working on it. Kersey, Colorado is a crusher that was owned by Weld County. I talked to the Weld County Public Director for Equipment. They were in the process of buying a brand new one, same thing, loved crusher, RC2, and they were in the process of buying a new one when this one froze up. Again, I don't know why it froze up. They don't know either, but it did, and they put $95,000 worth of bearings in the bottom of it. And so this crusher's been completely rebuilt and put on an auction for next week on the 18th. So that's available. And then this morning I got another call from Power Equipment. They've got one in Casper, Wyoming. It's a little older and a little rough around the edges, but worth looking at for $298,000. And that's about all that's out there, Commissioner. It's just, I mean, feel free to get online and shop for this crusher. You know, I just want you to know that I did do what you asked and reached out. So my general price on these things is $298 to $375. The market's strong. I know the Dow Jones is down, but the people are still out crushing this morning and making material and making product, and there's a demand for this equipment, and so the values are holding pretty good. So I guess what I really want to do today is sit here and discuss this auction. If we're going to try to participate in this, then I need to be able to bid it, and I need approval for a certain amount of money to go do so. It doesn't mean I'm going to spend that much money, and I don't think I would want to exceed $375,000 off this spreadsheet. If I did that, then I'm crazy. So, or I'm looking at new, and I don't think I want to do that. In fact, I know I don't. But I don't want to be sitting there bidding on an auction without you guys' approval either. So.
I don't know that it makes a lot of sense to talk about money for an
Yeah,
auction in public either. I mean,
that's
you,
right.
You guys can have that discussion elsewhere, just to authorize whether or not he can go to the auction and bid on it.
All right, thank you, John.
I think we should have a discussion of the money before we give you an approval, though, because I see some of these numbers here, and I'm questioning them, but we can have an executive session or whatever, or however we want to do it.
I think that's absolutely correct, because I don't really want to know let the competition know what I'm willing to let you know.
And I agree, and that's why I haven't said anything via numbers,
Yeah.
but if we have to do that, I mean, I don't want to approve anything if it wasn't budgeted for this year.
No, but I have a way to pay for it, so.
Well.
So I'd like to discuss that in executive session too.
So I guess then we should probably move to an executive session, and we can do it later in the day. Or we can finish our meeting, and then, I don't know what your schedule will allow, but.
No, my schedule will allow whatever you want to do.
It's
You
really up
could
to you,
even appear by
Commissioner.
phone if you want.
Well, by phone you
Instead of-
said, yeah, if he's busy. I'm not opposed to the executive, I don't really like executive sessions, but I can see when you're talking money like this that it's necessary. But I asked the question about when the roads would be done for a reason, and I think timing in life is everything, and I would rather wait to see the roads completed, because they can go up, or they can go over, they can go under, and revisit this discussion in August. That's what I'm going to be talking about in the executive session. I don't need to hide it from the public, so that's my take on this.
Okay, and that's a good point, but the gravel that I'm looking for really doesn't have anything to do with these roads that we're fixing this year. Those roads are ready to go. So this is gravel production to get us caught back up to take care of the other roads that we're gonna work on heavy this spring. That's in our normal routine, our normal budget, our normal routine of working roads. So we've hauled enough gravel this spring to get a few projects off the list that was on our regular scheduled list, T5 for instance, and that's done. But we're gonna pause now to make sure we don't run out to get the other work done that we do need to do. 7th Street Extension, Road M, the old BB out there, we're making the 3/4 ton right now, or 3/4 inch road base right now out of Ormiston for BB. So there is that demand, and if you want to wait till August, okay, but there is that demand beyond what we're doing this year. So, and it does reach out for many years in the future. So then the other option, or another question I need to talk to you guys about today is, we have historically, well, way before I've been here, worked very closely with Dolores County on providing gravel for them out of Ormiston. Always worked to deal with them versus it was either money or it was pickups or something. So this year, they don't want to use Ormiston for their reasons, and I don't blame them. It's not a good gravel. We've talked about that for what they use it for. But they do have a request in to purchase 20,000 ton from us at our hay camp pit, which they're not going to need till sometime next year, from what I'm being told. And I don't see any reason why that would change right at the moment. But 20,000 ton, there is a royalty there, so they would have to pay the royalty plus our normal cost of crushing that we always charge them for this stuff. They want to use this on what we call the county line road. And this is where I think this is a good move here.
Yep.
So this is the north boundary of Montezuma County to south boundary of Dolores County. Road FF is what we call it. I believe they call it Mary or M. It's right at Cajon. It runs east and west. This is a road that's due for gravel, and they're taking responsibility on this. We don't maintain this road. They do, even though we own half of it. Half south, half is ours. We never blade that road. Dolores County takes care of it. They take care of graveling it. It's their business. There's about 4 miles of road, and then Steve is very interested in getting from 491 east to Road 15 gravelled completely this year, which about a mile of gravel runs about 44,000 ton. If you do it kind of like we do it, I'm just assuming they do. But they also want to do spot graveling on some more of F. So this is a good chance for us to work together that we have in our agreements in the past, where we work together county to county to try to help each other, supply each other, and do what we can. So I'm
So this
asking-
would tie into the Bradfield Bridge?
It can go over to 15, on over to 16, or down and over to that. And then there are some discussions Steve and I are having about, we would like to next year work on 15, get it caught back up. From 491 north towards the helium plant is a bad road, and we want to do some big improvements on it next year. And that ties into Dolores County, which their part is pretty good. From the county line north, they're in pretty good shape, but it is that Ormiston gravel. And Steve and I have talked about some joint venture work in there, fixing some of that up for that heavy traffic going to that helium plant. So in order to do what we're doing, they're looking for a better source of gravel than the Ormiston pit because of the lack of clay in it and lack of binder. And so they've asked to purchase 20,000 ton from us, and so I'm just questioning today whether I can go ahead and proceed with that. So
My question is, only question. So we've been on them for like 7 years to improve the Dolores Norwood Road through Dolores County. This looks like leverage to me, and are they planning on doing the graveling, the Dolores Norwood Road?
yes, they are, but they're bringing it out of a different pit, and it's not Ormiston. It's a better pit with clay, and their plan this year is to come south and tie back into Montezuma County with a good road there, or good gravel. Yes, that is their plan.
Which they're not using this gravel anyway. Again, here's my problem, and I said it last time, and I thought we were gonna ask Four Corners, Stone, and Four States if they had any issues, because here again, there now is private industry that can supply this gravel to Dolores County, and it's coming off a hay camp. If it was coming out of Ormiston, that's one thing, but now you're coming into Montezuma County, you have 3 other pits that can actually supply this, and that's the rub I have with it. And that's just,
We asked Stones, and they have no issue. They ask Casey, and of course he'd like to sell it to them, but they can't afford it with Casey's prices, which they won't from Four Corners either. That's the cost of material. With our intergovernment agreements that we work with, they get it for cost, and we work county to county, state to state. You know, a good example is this crusher coming up on an auction. I could have probably got that crusher for a fourth of what the value is on it, if I'd have just known Weld County was selling it.
Mm-hmm.
But they have their transparency rules too, and it goes, if they don't find another county to buy it, then it has to go on public auction. So we do this a lot. We do this a lot between state to state, county to county, and this is something we've been doing for years.
So where is the IGA? Did you say you had an IGA for Dolores County?
A what?
No.
An IGA for Dolores County?
Intergovernment agreement. is that
Out
what
of
you're asking?
Haycamp? Yeah. Where is that agreement?
In history, I've got records and records and records where they traded pickups for gravel,
Yeah.
paid for gravel. We've sold them gravel, absolutely.
Do you want to
But-
weigh in, Commissioner, or Tim?
Well, I think Rob's right. It's a long history of county-to-county cooperation. And one county helping another county when, if Commissioner Candelaria wants to put this on the public market where private industry tries to bid on this, I mean, there's no way they can compete with us. And I don't think they should. I think we keep this. Those are public roads. They're not private drives. They're not subdivision roads. They're not private entities that this gravel's going to. It's going on the public roads in both counties. And I think it's smart for us to continue that agreement, continue that handshake agreement, if that's what it is, that we work with Dolores County and they hopefully work with us so that we make it a mutually benefiting arrangement for everybody in both counties, for the public in both counties to travel down better roads. And I hate to see us start trying to stick ourselves into the private sector with intergovernmental deals that we worked with.
I understand that, but here again, if we're going to give away, even if it's 25,000 tons, we're jumping into our reserves, and if our production goes up 35%, our reserves are going down even quicker. So
Well, sure.
I'm looking at it not that I have anything against helping Dolores County.
Right.
It's just that if we're looking at our infrastructure and our pits, we should be looking at those. And we're not in the business to sell gravel to another entity.
I don't do this very often. They did ask this year, they need some help.
And I understand.
And I know.
I definitely
And you make a good
understand,
point
but
with, I'm asking for more production, but these are some of the reasons we need more production, is we do this. We're very good at this.
Yeah, and we do it with the Forest Service.
And I believe that you are. I definitely believe that, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Oh, that's fine.
So-
That's perfect.
If you have the data for the reserves, I'd like to have that available for
I'll work on getting that for you.
for the executive committee
But Commissioner, we're eventually going to run out of stuff in every pit that we're in. I mean, they're
Correct,
It's not
which-
and Rob's obviously looking ahead at other
Correct.
properties and other places to move to. So I mean, that's just a natural progression of what you do in the
But we don't
gravel
want to
mining
run out of it
business.
quicker.
What's that?
We don't want to run out quicker.
Well, if it affords us the ability to buy a gravel crusher that produces 30% more gravel for us, then maybe we do consume some of that reserve. I mean, if it's beneficial to us, I cannot help but believe that if we can go in with the same infrastructure at our pit, same power requirements, same loader requirements, same screen, everything, and increase our gravel production by 35%,
Yeah, I'm not discounting that at all.
and make that happen in our gravel producing operations, I think it behooves us to take a real hard look at that and say, yeah, I think that's something we need. That's a smart thing to do. That's a smart thing to do. And
It doesn't mean we have to run the crusher.
Yeah.
We can take
I
that crew
get
and
all
go
that.
build roads too,
We
Yeah.
kind of shifted from Dolores County to the crusher.
Well, the
county.
Dolores County
So
thing, I need to
I'm
get
talking
settled.
about
They're hurting
Dolores
for some
County.
gravel.
So I'm going to go right back to Dolores
Okay.
County, and that's the push
Yeah.
that I have. We're using our reserve, but yet we want to increase our production by 35%, and that's a discussion we'll have in executive session, but you can kind of see where I'm leaning. I don't.
Yeah, I
I'm
see
not-
what you're saying, but part of our business is producing gravel, and if we
We
can,
produce gravel for Montezuma County. We don't produce
there's
gravel
4
for
miles
La
of
Plata
road there we
County
never touch.
or
Yeah, this-
Dolores County.
That's 4
or-
miles of road, Jimmy, that we never touch. They do it for us year after year after year at their cost. They take care of roads up towards Fish Creek
Yeah.
at their cost that are in Dolores County. Sometimes we make trades like this to get even with each other.
I understand.
And that's basically what this is.
Well, I'm going to weigh in. So Montezuma County's roads go into Dolores County. Dolores County's roads we're neighbors. I'm not a commissioner that I stop my decision-making at the county line. I think that, and I am for selling them the gravel. However, I brought up the Dolores deal because I'm willing to, I believe that we should do the trade because I think it's from government to government and it's for a public road, period, public. The Dolores County Commissioners have did some things to Montezuma County. I'm going to kick them in the, because they held a meeting in Nuclear, Colorado to push the NCA with Montrose County and San Miguel County, when the NCA is 4 counties, which the other 2 counties, Montrose and San Miguel County, actually thought that it was not a very good business decision to not include Montezuma County because they have a different position on the National Conservation Area. So I think being a good neighbor, maybe Dolores County, I hope you're listening. I think it was wrong what you did to the citizens of Montezuma County by having a hidden meeting in Nuclear, Colorado. But I still believe that we should be neighborly, and maybe they'll think about that twice again before they hold a illegal meeting, as far as I'm concerned, and not include Montezuma County.
Thank you. I agree.
Well, I think an executive session with Rob, and I think we'll get to the nuts and bolts of this deal, and then come out of that executive session with some kind of an idea how we want to proceed. So
With Dolores County too, then?
Yeah.
In executive, okay, all right.
Yeah, I think they're both on the table is what you presented.
But what we need to do, we're going to have to come back out of executive session and make a decision.
Make a decision in public, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So what time would that be? Just
know.
generally
After
speaking?
lunch,
After
probably.
lunch,
Yeah,
okay.
probably early afternoon.
Because it's already 11 o'clock.
Yeah, okay, I'll be around.
Okay.
So, Thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you for the enlightening discussion. Let's go to the Montezuma County VFW Auxiliary Post 5231. Request for waiving of the fees to use the annex. I think we've heard about that before.
Haven't we talked about waiving fees?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Queenie Bars, 620 Riverside Avenue in Mancos, Colorado, and I'm here representing the VFW, Montezuma County VFW Auxiliary 5231. We have held our annual St. Patty's Day dinner in Mancos for the last 50 years. This year, the auxiliary voted to hold it in Cortez, and hopefully next year we'll hold it in Dolores since we are Montezuma County. I was not the chairman and was told that this was all taken care of, and last week it got dumped in my lap, and I went by the annex to check on it, and nothing was done. So here we are with all of our advertising and everything done. So I'm coming to ask, they did put me on the agenda, on the calendar over there. They were very nice. Lori was very nice about waiving her dinner and letting us come in. And so I'm here asking that Montezuma County Commissioners waive the fees for our annual St. Patty's Day dinner. This is one of our large fundraisers for our auxiliary to pay for our events for our veterans and our youth in the community.
And I just would state that as the Montezuma County Senior Service goes through an update, that the Legion has offered that the county use the kitchen, I believe. Is that correct?
That is, but they're not there right now. So is Jonathan, what were his recommendations? I don't.
Jonathan is okay with waiving the fees and letting them use this.
What are the fees?
It's $200 and something, I believe.
We will
And
pay.
Normally, we always just do $100 cleaning deposit for nonprofit organizations. That's always the rule, and the VFW is a nonprofit. However, since it's a fundraising event, he thought it should probably come before you.
We are willing to pay the $100 cleaning fee, and we will clean before and after we use it.
Commissioner Tell?
I think that's part of what, I mean, I'm kind of glad to see Mancos come to Cortez do their fundraiser over here. Maybe you'll get more people to come to your dinner.
Hopefully so.
Maybe you'll get a lot of the veteran population over here to come to your function. So I'm I'm for these organizations. I think they do way more good for our communities and especially for our veterans. I know the auxiliaries support a lot of veterans functions and things that go to benefit our veterans. So I would move that we waive we require the $100 cleaning fee, but waive the usage fee for Annex 1 for their St. Patrick's Day fundraising dinner.
And the cleaning is just a deposit.
It gets refunded as long as
It's
it's
refundable.
as long as it's cleaned properly.
That's what we did for the Christmas?
Yeah, we do that for every dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done it for hospice. We've done it for
hospice.
for a lot of different
Okay,
organizations.
second.
Before we go to the vote, I would just like to say that I don't think we should charge a fee to anybody that uses the annex. They already used their taxes to pay for the annex in the first place. So why do we keep charging these fees when we got $18 million in the bank?
Thank you.
There's
All those in
some of them we
favor-
want to look at, by golly. We want to take a look at it.
They are taxpayer here. Let them use their building. They paid for it and they own it. They own this building. They own this computer. The only thing they don't own is my underwear. So, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Aye.
I'll just ask you guys to come join us
Yeah, maybe we
on
can
Tuesday,
get-
the 17th.
What are you serving? You're serving a little corned beef and
Corned
cabbage?
beef and cabbage,
All
red
right.
potatoes, carrots, dessert, and a drink. It's $9 for adults, $5 for children 5 to 11, and under 4 eat free.
Sounds like a winner.
12 hours of Mesa Verde, Cap Allen. Oh, and Mr. Underwood.
Mm-hmm. Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioners. Cap Allen, Kirk Underwood, we're on the board of the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde, and every year we appear before you to let you know we're going to continue business as usual, I guess, number one. But
That's
number
good,
two,
that's
maybe
good.
most important item of the real business is every year we get contributions of beer from brewers in Durango, and now we have a local brewery that's making contribution. And it's totally free, no money changes hands, and we give it away free.
You're not going to have any cases of Corona?
How many do you need?
0 for Montezuma County.
The numbers are pretty big. I think we end up giving away something like 1,500 cans of beer and a couple of kegs of beer, but when you consider there's a couple thousand people in the beef barn, we always, every year, we adhere to having what you call it, a tips server, a trained tip server. In the years we've been doing it, I don't remember somebody wobbling up to us and wanting to put 4 more beers in his arms and walk away. It's pretty much totally dehydrated people trying to rehydrate.
They're wobbling because they're so tired they can barely get up there.
So gentlemen, can I ask a
And,
question for the liquor license?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do-
One
Kim.
second, Kim needs to ask.
I
a
just
que-
needed to ask one question about the liquor. Do you have tips? Do they have a tip jar or anything like that? Okay, that's all I needed to know.
No, I don't think we promote that at all, so.
It's
there
just
may be
it's a
some
donation made
behind-the-table
by the
stuff
brewer. It's
goes
to be a
on.
donation to the
Yeah.
riders. Yeah.
Someone to serve it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Any-
I don't think that happens.
Any other information? Just do the same thing you've been doing every year?
The only other thing I'd say is you're probably, of all the sponsors we get, the county's probably the best sponsor we have, you know. We get a screaming deal on renting that fairgrounds. At least 2,000 or 3,000 people there in a 2-day span. And brag a little bit about ourselves. We've given away over $500,000 in the past 10, 12 years.
50,000 a year.
Yeah,
It's a
and we
lot of- it's a lot of
intend to
money.
keep it. We don't take a penny out of it. Even this nice jacket that's embroidered that Kirk's wearing, we had to pay for them.
You had to buy them yourself.
We didn't get them for free. So I think our number last year was $65,000, and I think
good.
we're headed to that again. We're sold out again in terms of riders, somewhere in the vicinity of 900 riders.
We would like you gentlemen to ride again if you'd like.
I'm always up for it. I can make one lap.
Perfect.
And I would just like to talk about this in executive session.
I would say we think it's a big plus if the county commissioners do have a team. We like to brag about that, about not only are they behind us, renting us the fairgrounds, but they're out there riding too.
Well, Commissioner Candelaria and I did okay, but Commissioner Powers, it kind of hurt his marriage. He got hurt and he
I got hurt training. Jim got hurt training.
Anything else, Commissioner?
No.
Well, if there's anything we can do to make that part easier on you, just let us know and we'll make accommodation.
I would just say something about the bike club that FYI that people don't know in the community is that you have given over $500,000 to the youth committee, which I'm not for sure of any other entity that has done that. The 80% of the doctors, surgeons that are in Montezuma County make $250,000 a year. And the reason that those 80% are cyclists is because they can make $500,000 closer to Denver, but they make the $250,000 so that they can get, when they are done working, they go ride one of the #1 trails in the state of Colorado, which is Phil's World. And that's why they live here. If we didn't have those cyclists, our hospital would probably be shut down because nobody would want to be a doctor or surgeon here. So I suggest if you do go get surgery, don't knock a cyclist before they knock you out because you might not wake up. The second thing is the cycling community has in the last 2 years donated their time. They get $6 a foot to build these new trails. They've built almost 50 trails, which adds up to $1.5 million that the cycling community, and give it some change, $1.5 million that the cycling community has injected into this community in volunteership in increasing those trails. I ride all kinds of transportation, and I get sick when I hear somebody of an ATV saying, it is just not fair that the cyclists are getting those trails. Well, I want to tell you why it's not fair, because you with the ATV, how many trails have you built? How many, what are you doing? What is your organization doing to build and expand the trails? We have tried to get the ATV club to get bigger in Montezuma County, and we can't get anybody to join it because we've, as commissioners, have told them, give us the trails you want. We will advocate with the Forest Service and the BLM, and to this day, 7 years later, as commissioner, nothing from the ATV community, which doesn't make sense when you can't go anywhere in this town without seeing one being pulled with a trailer. But by the way, kudos to the cycling club for moving forward.
And I will be there.
I'll be there too, but I will not be on a bicycle.
I will be there.
I will be there with my explosive nature, but that's
We
about
can't live without Commissioner Hertel and his big boom.
I love starting you and I love closing you up, but yeah.
Well, so John
if we
writes,
ride as a team again, Larry Don's probably got a decade on me, and Larry Don had the fastest time last year. So I'll beat him this year if we ride as a team.
There you go.
the
challenge is on. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make 2 laps.
Shaq, would you or your wife like to ride?
I'm not volunteering my wife for anything. I might have been born at night. It wasn't last night.
All right. Well,
best of luck to you, and I'm glad to hear that you're already filled up and you've got your slate already, and we'll just pray the weather holds just like it did last May. Man, it was a beautiful weekend last May.
So motion.
Yeah. I would move that the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde be exempt and their free beer distribution at the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde for their event in May.
Second.
Motion is second to approve a special liquor license for the 12 Hours of Mesa Verde out at the county fairgrounds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
We have a liquor license renewal now with Jerry. We have the renewal of the Makers Brewing Company and Smitty's Liquor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a liquor license renewal for Makers Brewing Company that is located at 484 East Frontage Road, Makers, Colorado. And also for Triple H&J Incorporated, which is Smitty's, at 10255 Highway 491 in Cortez. And I have the letters from the sheriffs, and there is no problem from the sheriffs on anything.
Sheriff had nothing.
establishment, huh?
On either establishment, yes.
These are both renewals, right? I don't.
They're just renewals, yes, these are just renewals.
Any discussion, Commissioner?
Nope.
I have none. The sheriff's already checked them out, and they're all good to go. I don't see any reason
Just
to.
have those Commissioner Candler move on both of them.
So I would move that we accept the renewal liquor license for Mancus Brewery Company and Mancus Brewery. And then for Smitty's Liquor at Post Office Box 839, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the renewal liquor license for the Mancus Brewery Company and Smitty's Liquors north of town on Highway 491. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let me sign these.
Okay. All right, well, I'll sign these while you're there. Alan, come on up. We have the Fair Board concert liquor license discussion with Alan Higgins.
Morning, Alan.
Good morning.
Well, fill the commissioners in, Alan.
We're gonna have their concert July 24th, at the fairgrounds, same as we did last year. We did fairly well on our, liquor sales last year. We had a lot of compliments, we had no issues whatsoever. I think you guys ended up with one letter out of the whole deal,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't a big deal. Kinda wanted to do the same thing again this year, to try to get our, keep our money in our budget so we don't have to ask for so much on the next go around.
Gotcha.
So, it'll just be for, Friday night only, the same as last year.
Just the concert, that one
Just-
function Friday night.
Just July 24th.
And you have
Who
to-
is your band?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a secret.
why not?
We have a verbal confirmation, but with the contract, they will not, we can't advertise the stuff for like another month, I think. So we can't let it out.
Mhm. Good. Well, I think you ran a good show last year, I think, and I know you put more money in the Fair Board's pocket from allowing the liquor to be sold out there, and like you say, there weren't any issues came from it, which is.
No, I think
which
we
is
had one
letter.
of
Yeah, and
complaint,
it was
that
just
was
that
it,
they
so it was-
disagreed with the whole concept of serving liquor at the fair, but.
So it'll actually kick off the fair. The fair won't start for another, the kids won't show up for another 4 days for the
Yeah,
fair stuff.
yeah, so it's not gonna be influencing.
So they'll have time to recover.
Oh, Shaq, I tell you.
God, he's bad, isn't he?
Yes,
He's
he is.
rotten.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to move that we grant the temporary liquor license for the Montezuma County Fair Board to serve liquor at their Friday night concert at State Fair, or County Fair time.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the special use liquor license for the Fair Board, for the Fair Board concert. All those in favor for 2020?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Alan. Next, we have Lacey Murphy and Aunt Marty for the Ute Mountain Ute Roundup Rodeo liquor
Man, is that
license.
all we're doing in Montezuma County's booze?
All right.
Booze, this is a booze day.
How are you guys
Good morning,
today?
ladies.
Good morning.
I think it's so they can comply with their 90-day or whatever their window is.
Yeah, their
so that
window,
you
yeah,
can get
yeah.
approval for your,
Mm-hmm.
Well, fill us in.
Yep.
Same.
Ready to go.
Well, and we're just asking for the same
Same
thing we
thing.
had last year. You approved us for Pendleton, and Pendleton has brought in some money. I think it'll grow and grow. We put in a beer garden last year with tents, and now Coors has kicked in more money as well. So it.
Good.
And we didn't have any issues last year.
It's still gonna be in the same locale, same guidelines, same,
You know, we're always making improvements to the fairgrounds, so.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Where we did at the beer garden there to the north,
Mm-hmm.
we're putting in a gate so we can back trucks in, because that was kind of a hard to maneuver the cooler trucks.
In there, yeah.
And, so that's on.
Building
We're
it,
doing
building, yeah.
Some handicap things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
just asking for the same thing we had last year.
Any discussion, commissioners?
Nope, they
Nope,
run a good
I-
show.
I would move that we accept the Mountain Roundup liquor license for their event in 2020.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the special use Ute Mountain Ute Roundup Rodeo liquor license for 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks.
Yeah.
I just want to add what 12 Hours of Mesa Bird said. We have had such a great partnership with Montezuma County and the fairgrounds. We can't thank you enough. It
Well.
wouldn't be what it is without
Well.
the community efforts.
Yeah,
You
that
bet.
goes both ways.
You bet. You guys made a lot. You've made a lot of things possible out there. So
Thank you.
You're a big partner in that whole operation out there with us. So thank you.
Thank you.
Shane Higman for the county vehicle maintenance update. How you doing, Shane?
Good morning, Shane.
Good morning,
Great.
Shane.
All righty.
Do we want to put these on the big screen? Last time we couldn't retract the numbers after they had discussed them and they wanted something different. Do you want to see how the discussion
Yeah,
goes before we put it?
let's don't put the numbers up there yet, so we don't get in a situation like we did last time.
Gotcha.
The number one thing is, we have to get our vehicles are taking a long time to get here, our new vehicles, so. For this year, we need to start getting our vehicles purchased, so they'll be here in a timely order this year and get into service as soon as possible. You have in front of you the, Sheriff's Department, new pickups, we wanna get 3 pickups. Steve, you wanna go up here and help them out here? I brought Steve, as you can see, I just bid a 1500 SSV pickup, and this is every single bid that I received through Big Quote and also reaching out to the local dealers. You'll see there that Dodge is significantly cheaper, but they also get much worse fuel mileage. We did the math on 100,000 miles, and it's around $5,000 over 100,000 miles in fuel savings, plus keeping the sheriff's fleet standardized with Fords. You see a Ford, black Ford, Montezuma County. We get to the point where we have so many different vehicles that we have to stock different filters, we have to stock different tires, we have to stock different everything over there. If we standardize across the board, we keep the same size tires in stock, so when the sheriff's department vehicle comes in, we can just get a new set of tires on it quickly. We keep a set out there on our Connex. When that set goes away, 4 states which has our rating for tires will bring it straight over and restock our tires. It's easier to keep them across the board uniform.
What about this power, speed? Are they about the same?
They actually have just as much horsepower. The 3.5 liter turbos have just as much horsepower as the 5.7 Hemmings that the Dodges have. They're actually faster. 0 to 60 faster. Ford does have more options on their SSV packages than the Dodges do. Dodges are very minimal upgrades in their SSV package. So we're just looking to get 3 of the Fords approved so we can get them coming. I highlighted there, because these, I assume you guys would definitely want to go with the local dealer. They have the cheapest price, so.
All right, well, we'll have discussion. Commissioners, what do you think about the proposal?
Well, it's obviously Dodge is cheaper on the front end, but if you're saving, that 5,000 doesn't quite make up for the price difference on the front end. But I understand standardized, having running the same equipment. There's benefits and there's benefits that come from running the same vehicles and having the same vehicles in your fleet. So it's not a great deal of difference, about $7,000 difference, which that's substantial. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at. $7,000 is.
It's not after you put in the fuel statement.
Yeah, but right. But that takes 100,000 miles to get that 5,000 back. So yeah.
But the standardization, like you just said, I think that's
Yeah.
the bigger,
Yeah,
I think
that's it.
that's the bigger issue. So
Yeah.
these, and then this that you highlighted, that's all coming from a local dealer?
That is from, if you'll see, look over there under the dealer. That's
Oh,
over
right,
there.
okay.
Yeah. And that's his for three of them price?
And I think that listening to the county administrator, knowing what to look for when he's speeding, if it's standardized, might help him in the long run as well. So.
He likes seeing that Ford grill will give him an indication that
Just remember, Sheriff, whatever's good for me is equally good for them.
I didn't say anything bad.
I don't know about all these commissioners speeding through those school zones when they're having the convention for blind children, but gee.
Dang.
Well, entertain a motion, commissioners. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So do you want to put these numbers up then, or no? If you guys, well, I'll wait till after the vote.
I will move that we authorize the Fleet Department, Shane Higman, to purchase for benefit of Montezuma County Sheriff's Department 3 F-150 Responder Ford 3.5-liter turbos from Kazee Motor Company at the price of $33,689 per unit.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve 3 vehicles purchased for the Montezuma County Sheriff's Department, 3.5-liter turbo diesels, F-150s, for $33,689 apiece. All those in favor?
Aye, but they're not
Except for
diesel.
they're not
They're
diesels.
gas.
Did I say diesel?
They're
Yeah,
just
you said-
turbo.
Yeah, they're just turbo.
They're just
yeah.
turbo.
Coffee.
But yeah, you had it.
Just all back. They're just turbo diesels, gas. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All right. Thank you.
They're just turbo.
Okay,
Gas has turbos too.
The rest of mine is, we're still looking at a few more vehicles we're gonna have to replace through the year. We need to still need an assessor, but, she's out for a little while. We'll put that one on hold until I can talk to her and get her in here with me so we can talk about the assessor vehicle.
You know, and Shane, talk to her about, I don't know how, they don't go outside of Montezuma County, do they? Okay. To me, that assessor's vehicle would be a real fit for another electric vehicle. Because they just go
Well,
out and do property surveys.
When they go up
think
and
they-
assess mines and stuff like that, I don't know.
Oh, do they? They have to
Yeah,
go
I
up the
think
mountain?
it's,
Oh,
I think
off-road
it's the
stuff?
off-road stuff that they were
That's right, she
looking
did
at.
say she needed
And I'll
four-wheel
have her
drive,
come in
that's,
and talk. She
yeah.
had good reasoning for needing the high clearance four-wheel drive.
Gotcha.
but
That's right, I forgot,
I'll
I
have
picked
her
that up.
come in and talk to you guys about that so we can get her a vehicle bid and get it coming.
Yeah.
But after our discussion yesterday in our department head meeting, I had the opportunity to visit with Shane a little bit. There are some options that will
Mhm.
give her the ground clearance that she needs. So it's just a matter of her getting with Shane now when she gets back to pick
Gets
pick
back
the
to regular
right,
time, yeah.
yeah,
and
the right vehicle.
We're
Okay.
still looking, later on, I'll be looking for something for another one for the health department and, one new pickup for the road department. And then we'll be moving that down into the, but that all is based off the numbers I gave you guys earlier in the year, which when we get to that point, I'll bring those back up.
Okay.
The sheriff did very good about when he got the 3, his numbers didn't change. We have a couple of vehicles that came in that'll either be auctioned or I'll move them over to departments that need them. I think the one Explorer will actually get moved into a different department because it only has 130,000 miles on it. It gets rid of something that has 190,000 miles, and we'll probably get rid of one of the larger units for a smaller Explorer.
There you go.
Better for that, so.
Yeah. Good enough.
I just got a question, Shane. So we have the 3 electric vehicles, and there's 2 departments that use those. Is that correct?
Mhm.
The
And
health department and, yeah.
And I was wondering how much they're being used. I'd like to really use them. I mean, are we getting adequate use of them?
They're
With
getting, in my opinion, from looking at all the numbers in the fleet mate system they're getting as many or more miles than the other units.
Anything
Oh,
else?
okay, that's,
Good.
that's what
I
my
think,
question, okay.
The one IT has is pushing 2,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
already.
good.
And the others are approaching the 1,000-mile range, which
Yeah.
for those departments, they only put 7,000 or 8,000 miles a year on their
Yeah,
vehicles
so they're,
anyway, so
so they're still
they are
in
getting
line.
used
Yeah.
regularly.
Okay,
Good.
good, just so that'll give a track record of
Mm-hmm.
how they hold up and everything. All right, anything else, commissioners?
No.
Thank you, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Mike Chenard, we have the Buildings and Grounds maintenance update.
I'm not sure. Could be. More, Mike.
I think it's just his
All right, man.
regular update. It's just regular update.
Oh, okay. Said the bids from at the jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Totally different.
Is this
that
a different-
the
so-
Sally Port or the roof? Sally Port or roof? What are we talking about here?
That's for the jail, doing the showers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
We got bids on that, we haven't got bids on painting them yet.
Good.
We got the 2 bids.
That's what you brought up to them the last time you were here.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, so let's,
I do have 2 bids for, if you look at the bids for, Alpine, for updating the fire system for Annex 3 and Annex 1. I don't know if that'll be on this year's budget or next year's budget.
That's updating what, the
That'll be
alarm
next year's
fire
budget.
system? And that's from Alpine?
Yeah,
Is that the only bid you've gotten?
that's the only bid I've gotten so far.
Uh-huh.
And that will be a 2021 budget.
Year 2021 project.
So we can just put this to the side.
Right, that's not gonna be that, just something I wanna bring up. I do have a bid for Sallyport. I only got 1 bid so far, I'm waiting on another bid, for $48,000 to do the cover at Sallyport. I'm waiting on another contractor, I haven't got his bid yet.
Did you have a
And-
bid line? I don't wanna, don't say numbers if you haven't.
Okay,
Um,
right. I'm still waiting on the other bid.
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, because we need to do this a little differently. We need to have the bids, like when the bid ends, it ends.
Yeah, they've gotta come in at the same time, they've gotta be publicly open, and then the numbers are read and presented at that time. So even though you have one, I'm not gonna look at the number or anything until we get them.
Yeah.
What's
right.
that?
Wait for the other bid.
Because otherwise, we're gonna expose people's numbers, and
Right.
that is not the way that process works, so
You want it as a sealed bid?
we do want them
Yeah.
as a sealed bid.
Yeah,
Bring it as a sealed bid, okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll let them know.
So, fortunately, I have to mention, I've already forgot what the number was, so, but
And
we're,
I'm not gonna look at it,
Yeah.
so I don't even
I'll
wanna
have,
know.
we'll give you that back.
And I can't count that way anyway.
Do you have any suggestions? I mean, is that gonna be fair?
Yes, that's
Wait.
fair. And when you say sealed bid, you're not requiring them to physically deliver it, are you? Or are you requiring them to physically deliver it? I mean, they could still email it to you, the
That's what
same,
they're doing,
Yeah.
they're emailing it to me.
right? But we can still call it a sealed bid. You're just not gonna distribute it. You're gonna deliver it to the commissioners.
All right. So, but then you gave us something here about this 1,200, the cleaning of the showers.
Yeah, those 2 bids that Vicky Pierce got for cleaning the showers at the jail.
Oh, they're back to back.
Yeah, they need to be steam cleaned, and then they're not be painted.
And so we're done with this, correct? We're ready to make a decision on it.
Right.
Okay, so then I can go ahead. One of the bids was from CARE, and the total was for $3,150.
That's just the paint, just the cleaning, not the painting?
Just steam cleaning them.
And the other bid is from Bravo. Scrub the surface, pressure wash, ready for new paint. That total is $1,200.
Bingo.
You're comfortable with either one of these suppliers?
I've never used either one of them, so I
Okay.
really don't know what the work is like.
All right. I would move that we accept the bid from Bravo Cleaning and Restoration on the shower scrub down and cleaning at the Montezuma County Jail for the amount of $1,200.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the cleaning of the showers and the connecting areas for the Montezuma County Jail in the amount of $1,200 to Bravo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Mike, will you notify Bravo to proceed then?
Yeah, I can notify him.
Thank you.
Okay. We started the dental project today. We modeled the repair and the carpet out and stuff, so that's gonna be a little lengthy project over there.
Where's that at, Mike?
It's in the
Oh.
health department, that second building,
Oh, right, right.
or that second room that they moved out of.
Yeah, we started that today.
Good,
I have a walkthrough for the kitchen remodel today at 1 o'clock,
good.
so.
That's at Senior Services?
Right. yeah.
Good.
So hopefully we'll get people to show up. This
Boy, yeah.
time nobody showed up.
I know, man. I've never seen anything like that,
I'm not sure
man.
how we can work on that one. But that's all I've got. I am getting questions on the security fence at the jail. I guess when they did the dirt work over there, they ripped a hole in the fence, and it hasn't been repaired yet.
When what?
The sheriff was supposed to take care of that. That was a conversation that I had with the
Is that where
sheriff.
they're building, where you're
Yeah,
adding that fill and
for
stuff out
dirt
to
that
the
went
east of the
out there.
building?
It was an inner or outer, but I think the sheriff has the knowledge of that.
Oh, he does?
So, yeah.
Okay.
And he's gonna take care of it? Okay.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Okay.
Anything, commissioners? What about, where do we stand on the roof projects? That's
I think
been
the-
out to bid, or
The
what's?
roof went back out.
It's been out to bid yet, has it?
I think it went back out last week, right?
I gave Billy the authority, the
So it's being
authorization to put it out.
advertised?
Okay.
It
With,
should be, it's in the process of being advertised right now.
with what you and Shaq had went over as far as the RFP and the job description in there has been redefined between Shaq and Mike, and then it has, and I'm not sure if it'll be probably posted this Friday, but it is back out to rebid.
For how long? What is the deadline?
2 weeks.
So this isn't gonna, well, we'll be fine then as far as the project when it kicks
Oh,
off.
yeah.
It'll be about the same.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Good enough.
Thank you, Mike. We
Okay,
appreciate
Mike,
it.
thanks.
Okay, we have the IT update with famous band player Jim McLean.
Yes, the rock and roll artist,
I'll make this really quick, you guys are getting late.
Jim Bad News
Oh.
McLean.
I don't have a lot, I will piggyback on the card thing now, I will tell you my budget, my fuel budget is half of what it was this time.
Oh, yeah.
With that
Good
electric
on
car.
you. Good on you. Is it working well for you, servicing you all right?
You should just give us another one.
I tell you what.
Seriously, I'm driving 2 expeditions that both get about 10 miles to the
I
gallon.
know, and I
We're
saw.
trying to get rid of those.
Yeah.
We're working on it. It's just a,
So even though I looked like I was pushing last year against the idea, I have to say it was a grand idea.
Good,
I can't find anything negative to say.
good. Glad to hear that, Jim. That's nice to hear.
Just a couple of things, the internet, I kind of mentioned it yesterday, probably had a meeting, but I'll just kind of reiterate today, we are going to be jumping off of the city of Cortez network. March 29th will be my go live, that's a Saturday, so it won't affect a small amount of people. But I'm gonna do it early in the morning, so hopefully there'll be no disruption in service at all, it should be pretty quick. I have pretty much everything ready to go, so, but we'll have control of our own network after that. And just say it's.
That's a good thing. Okay.
I also mentioned it, but we are finishing up, we're gonna try to do day, weather's kind of holding us up now, but we're gonna try to finish the door up at Annex 3. We've got the north door up with a reader on it, we'll get the south door on. But to do it, we have to block it off and have people come around the other side while we're working on it, because it's just the way it is. And I owe you an apology for the election day with the updates. We have a new policy in place now that will never happen again. They went to use the surfaces, which they only turn on a couple times a year for elections, and it happened to be on Patch Tuesday, and we didn't catch it, and they were in the middle of doing stuff, and also updated and shut off and restarted. So that won't happen again.
Oh, I bet Kim was.
Yeah, it was a little, it was a small amount of panic, but it wasn't the end of the world stuff. It's just, now that we understand what happened, we'll make sure it doesn't happen again, so. That's really all I have. Just staying busy with that stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Yeah, I have one question, Jim, and I'm sorry I'm trying to locate it, but we're paying DataSafe approximately, what, $5,000 and some change? Is that a monthly?
For the moment, but that's gonna go away.
But that's what's going to go away when we get off the city's?
No,
No.
those are two totally separate things.
Okay, tell me.
The data safe is part of my old DM system.
Right.
Before we bought the DX rail, but there's a lot of stuff that has to be finished transferred, so and I had mentioned it last year when we did the budgeting, that would be an incremental thing that would drop, and it will go away in the next couple, 3 months, but City of Cortez is my network.
Right, okay, but I knew data safe was another thing that we're moving away from, and we're gonna be,
Take a couple more months to get there.
yeah, okay.
All right, Commissioner Candelaria, anything?
I have nothing.
Thank you, Jim. We have the,
They're on their way back from finishing a project right now, so.
all right, so
They
that, well,
will
then we'll
be
just go
in
back
here.
to him? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that would be great. Let's skip
All right,
ahead
well,
to Attorney
how about
Baxter.
Mr. Dietrich?
I could grab Mr. Dietrich.
Do we want to go ahead? Will you grab Shaq? Do you want to approve these paid?
Grab Dietrich, or you want me to be here for that?
Go get
Dietrich.
And then we'll,
We were supposed to do that also.
did I miss? Where's that?
It's not on there.
It's not
but
on there.
This was
Yeah.
from 2 weeks ago. We asked if we would look them over and
Yeah,
approve these.
we got 3 months of
these last-
financials, yeah.
I can give a short report.
Okay.
Right now
Yeah,
while we're
go
waiting.
ahead.
Last week, we filed the E911 application with PUC in Denver, so we gave that notice. It's on our websites, and people have 30 days to comment, I think. And then we may or may not get a hearing after that.
Gotcha.
So that's it.
Well, we, for some reason, we left you off of the agenda here.
That's okay.
Shaq is
I gave the
struggling
report
with
anyway. Oh, no, it's on there. Can't I return the report?
Oh, where's it?
VO2 max.
Oh, I see, it's at the very bottom. All right, well, looks like why don't we, James, you're coming up, why don't we go ahead, Commissioners, and work on our financials? Are you,
Are we
or
okay
is
with
that,
these,
or do
Shaq?
I need to go through James first? What works for you best to be most efficient?
Let's do James first.
There we go, come on up. We're here to please. Oh, he didn't take those quotes.
Thank you, James.
All right, well,
Good job.
good morning, James. Why don't you bring us up to date of what we got going on here?
So the first thing we've got here is, before you is comments on the revisions to the NEPA process. And worked with the Dickson Outreach, with the Rangeland Stewardship Committee in particular on this, amongst some other folks. Generally, I think everybody is pretty supportive of the proposed changes. And so that's what we've got is a letter that really kind of supports the proposed changes. As we go through the letter, we essentially are providing a few examples that provide some of the difficulties that we've had working through the NEPA process. Obviously, not all the difficulties are NEPA process. A lot of the difficulties are also funding, but boy, there's sure a correlation with the NEPA process on that. So that is really the thrust behind the letter. The letter, in a nutshell, really provides support for the proposed changes.
Good for you.
It is 7 pages long, so I don't know that we need to really kind of go through the whole thing. You know, in the conclusion, I think we've underscored that the projects are oftentimes subject to uncertainty, review costs, lengthy project delays, which translates into project uncertainty and loss of confidence. So essentially changes to NEPA that result in more certainty would benefit everybody, including the agencies. We see a need for more well-defined determination of applicability, more expeditious turnaround, a more concise, summarized document, and cost savings through better determination of applicability, and more latitude to use the categorical exclusion when appropriate. And, you know, probably good examples of that would be perhaps the weed problem at Weather Mountain.
Exactly.
Perhaps even the parking lot down there, the parking lot expansion, where we really didn't have a lot of environmental concerns.
No.
Since it was solid rock. We also had an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah.
So just giving the federal agency some ability to say, hey, this is something we need to do right away. Potential impacts are not that great.
Yeah.
And so anyway, a little more flexibility in that.
And I'd like to see that, I don't know how we get this across to the federal government or to federal agencies here, but I think they should be allowed access. Senator Gardner's touting, they got the Land and Water Conservation Fund refunded for $900 some odd million, another redeal. They need to make that money accessible to these federal agencies to do maintenance, operations, things that instead of purchasing land, let them use some of that money to help in them funding the things that they come to us and say, oh, we'd love to do this, but we don't have the money. We can't do it. That's always the big cry we hear from our federal partners. Well, we'd love to do it with you, but we don't have the money. Just like at McPhee. The Forest Service should be responsible for that recreation out there. They should be building that dadgum breakwater. We should be in concert with them, but that should be their project. They should be doing that. And their cry is always, we don't have the money. Well, use some of that dadgum Land and Water Conservation Fund to fund some of these things. Instead of buying land and putting it more into the public domain of private land, fund your agencies where they can take care of what they got.
Yeah, it's certainly a point we made many times. On that note, I have to do a little more research in it. I got that message that came through also. It does look like in that Land Water Conservation Fund, they're setting a fund aside within that's supposed to be targeted for maintenance.
Oh, boy,
we need to do a little more research to find out if that's true.
That's exactly what they need to do. In fact, they need to do half of it for that. If they're going to keep buying private land and putting it in the public domain, they need to spend some money.
The backlog is in the billions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just in the national parks, it's in the hundreds of millions. Yeah, well, on we go.
Commissioner Candelaria?
President Trump addressed this on Tuesday back in Washington, and one of the little bits that he talked about was this NEPA process and how they're working to shrink it down so that you're not looking at a decade to go through this process and then get denied anyway when you get past the period of a decade. So I like it. I think we should do everything to support it to make this process much quicker and not drag everybody out for this process. So I think it's good. And at that, I think I would go ahead and move that we accept or present this letter of support to Mary B.
New mayor.
I think that's correct.
Chair of the Council on Environmental Quality, CQ, Washington, D.C.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the letter for the comments from Montezuma County to Mayor Newmore, on redoing the NEPA process where we don't have duplication. And Trump was 100% right. It's ridiculous that it would take 7 years to build a parking lot, but yet if you catch a wilderness study area on fire, the same thing that takes 7 years, they sent the archaeologist, because I seen it being a volunteer firefighter, and as fast as she could walk up that draw and make sure she didn't see a piece of pottery, she said, Dick, get your shovels and start making that fire line. She did what it takes them 7 years. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. What else do you have, James?
Which copy do you want us to sign, James?
You can just, any one of those up there is fine.
Any one of those?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Signatures are on
Start
both.
with mine.
Okay.
Start with his. Blue or black?
Okay, I'll go on with a couple other updates here. We have worked with the McRack, and we'll be meeting with the McRack again next week. One of the things that's come out through the McRack meetings is that we realized that a lot of voters are putting in up in Big Rock, and that is actually a private property up there.
Right.
They don't technically have an easement for it. Currently, the owners, when I visited with the owners, and the owners are relatively okay, working everything in shape. However, we're seeing some impact from the voters there, particularly trash and things like that. I'll continue to try to work with the voters advocacy group, see if we can't set up some sort of a stewardship day or something up there to help alleviate the private landowner, and also to work with that particular group to see if they can't negotiate for an actual legal right-of-way available to access the river there. The landowners seem to be open to visiting and working with us, and in fact, it seems like there may be an opportunity to provide some kind of easement access, for almost nearly a mile of river up there.
Mhm.
Which is essentially unusable land because it runs right up next to the highway. But technically, it's still private. So, and people are using it all the time. This is something that we can work with the landowner on. Could be something we, maybe engage with, Division of Wildlife, or possibly even GOCO. But the ultimate goal would be to, make sure, first of all, the landowner's private property is respected and taken care of. And then the second thing is to see what we can do to, negotiate some kind of proper legal access to alleviate all concerns, for all parties. So, we'll continue working on that, and I'll give you updates as that.
Okay. Thank you.
Also talked to the owner representative for the N.M.P.M truck stop. And maybe this is already news that commissioners have heard, but it does sort of sound like those folks are still interested in pursuing, a restaurant similar to the type of development we see down there currently. Within the same breath, they said, but if the county or city would like to purchase the property. So, I just anticipate that property, once it gets cleaned up, good chance it'll hit the market, but it does seem like there may be some movement, and it does seem like the owners are interested. However that shakes out for them, we don't know.
Yeah.
James.
I did read that email, and I actually asked Shaq if he would forward it to the tribe.
And I didn't copy you on it.
And as we have our meeting with the chairman and the council down there on the 24th, hopefully that'll be a topic of discussion to see if they're interested in it and or how they want to move.
We had a when we met down there earlier with a lady, I'm not sure she was councilwoman, but White Skunk was her last name, and then also Bill Tietzel.
Right.
And they have this kind of collaboration of a youth development, artistic, I mean, they've got some definite things in mind for that property should it become feasible for somebody to own it and do something different with it. So, yeah, I think that would be a great subject to bring up down there when we meet with the tribe if there's still some interest. And I hope that White Skunk lady spread that word around to some of the other council members and some of the other tribal people.
But it sounds like our environmental concerns will be done by the end of July, correct?
Yeah.
Or, approximately in there.
Sometime this summer, yeah.
So all of those environmental concerns will be taken care of, will be gone.
That's a big hitch in that property. That's a big hitch there.
James, I just want to clarify, when you talk about having the M&M property cleared up, you're only talking about petroleum contaminated soils and nothing on the buildings or the surface.
Correct. It's just the environmental concerns at this point.
All right, but it sounds like our sheriff caught the graffiti.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
have a cleanup project down there.
So.
Have them paint some murals instead of,
Paint him.
Quick update on the grants, we're still in the holding pattern. On two of the grants, we're waiting for the breakwater, as well as hearing some final grant word on the N.M.P.M funding. We're supposed to hear in March, so we're in March. So anticipating meeting
yeah.
date.
Okay.
And James, I think what you brought up, you heard that part of that Land and Water Conservation Trust money might be set aside for maintenance. That might be a place where we can pick apart this grant and get some monies from that possibly for this breakwater deal for get the Forest Service on tap.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely investigate that.
Yeah.
And then tied into that, Commissioner Candelaria is going to be, is it a grant or what is it you're going to be working on Thursday?
It's Thursday. It'll be the MMOF that you're talking about. That through the TPR, we'll have to ratify the lists that were accepted for that grant, and that'll be my Thursday morning meeting before I fly to Denver.
And that grant is for how much?
We submitted 510,000, and I'm fighting for everything that we can get. So.
And that's a zero match. I'm going to tell
It
you
was
what,
a zero match.
That's a gold mine.
So,
Yeah.
I told you, James, that hopefully by noon or 1 o'clock on Thursday that I would let you know where we're at and how successful we are.
All right. What else do you have, James?
I've got a question. Oh, go ahead. If you still have one more thing. During public comment, somebody had brought up what the Chambers of Commerce were doing with craft and trying to get tourism. I think the implication was that you were working with the United Nations for Agenda 21 population control through tourism, but if you could just brief us on what happened with that group and what Craft is trying to do to promote tourism and what that is.
Yes, certainly. Okay, so I've attended 2 meetings on this, and essentially what we're really trying to do is try to consolidate a community strategy for tourism. And that's really what this is about. Is trying to come up with a brand, trying to figure out how that brand fits our community, how we market that brand, essentially how we package that out and bring in more tourists. So it's basically, and they're not really saying that tourism should be the backbone of our economy. I think they're all saying that certainly would not be a good strategy. It certainly is a piece of our economy. We don't know how much of that piece we have exactly, but whatever piece that is, we want it to be as healthy as possible and as aggressive as possible and hopefully successful.
Who is the partners then that's working on this?
Okay, so we've had multiple folks from the community that showed up. Well, I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
There's the Chamber of Commerce from all 3 communities, Cortez, Dolores, Memphis, members of the community. I was there. Shaq was there for some of it. So
Did you have Mesa Verde Country and Mesa Verde Country, were they represented?
Yes, they said
Okay.
they were, yes.
Was the United Nations represented?
I did not see anybody from the United Nations that I recognized, but
Well,
anyway.
I think that's a good question, Shaq.
Yeah, unless it happened to be somebody from the state. Now, of course, it was being led by a couple of folks from the state. And I think what they did is they took somebody that had some experience in international tourism, and they're essentially working as a consultant. That could be the connection. I really don't know. The only thing I would say about the whole thing is it seems like the state strategy is to focus in on the high-value tourist. And I understand that strategy. I think I have a little bit of personal concern about that strategy.
Sure.
And to me, it seems like we would kind of be reaching kind of a broader range of people, and perhaps our niche could possibly be the return tourist. Maybe it's more family-oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, the high-value tourist had this profile associated with them. And,
What is a high-value tourist? What is that?
That's really hard to define.
Hard to define.
But essentially, what I would
Somebody that dumps a lot of money while they're here, or?
essentially somebody whose income starts at about 75,000 plus.
I got you.
Their age range of 25 to 64. So it's this sort of a.
Category,
I see what they're saying.
Yeah.
You certainly get more value out of your high-dollar tourists sometimes. On the other hand, it seems a little bit elitist.
Mm-hmm.
That's the direction we want to go here.
No.
It seems like a family-oriented community.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's more discussion about that, and it's all on the table, and we were talking about. I thought it was a reasonably good process.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue to work through it. If something good develops out of it, great. Hard to say, but the collaboration alone, getting 3 communities together, getting our heads around it, and talking about it, certainly, from my viewpoint, was worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Do you have anything else?
No, I'll go ahead and wrap it up with that. We've got
Okay.
two additional EAs that will be coming up, so be aware of those. There's the Salter EA and also the Rico Trail project. They're a little bit out there yet, so we'll have some more conversations.
All right. Well, thank you, James, for your report. Very well done. We have GIS with Doug Roth and Rachel Medea. We moved the agenda around. They were working on a project, I believe, we were told.
Yes, sorry we're late.
They've got their matching vest on. Yeah, you do. Nice vest.
These are just the rat cars that's handing out.
Is that for the census? Are those census
It
vests?
is, we're really working on census over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get back.
No, they just send texts every day to make sure they dress the same.
You guys are out there.
They're just that kind of besties.
The first thing I want to ask you, Empire Electric, we was asked to put, was it these? Or is these what was going to, what was going to go
These
in
are
our
the
electric?
cards.
Huh?
Yeah, I think that was one of the cards.
So the question is this what we were asking Empire Electric to put in the electric bills?
Yeah, something similar, yeah.
And then they gave us a quote, and then the next day they told us that we couldn't do it? Is that correct? And then
The bottom
it's
line.
correct that you get $1,400 a person a year? I mean, that's what the average is?
$2,300 a year.
$2,300, and so if you missed 100 people, and that's for 10 years?
Over 10 years, that would be $23,000 per person missed.
And so if you missed 100 people, I'm going to have to ask the person that figured out
2.3 million.
Bloomberg's $1 million a
2.3
person.
million.
What?
2.3 million.
$2.3 million that we would lose. Empire Electric turned us down. I've reached out to multiple counties, and their electric co-ops let them put these in. San Miguel County, multiple counties throughout the state of Colorado. Question for Empire Electric: why did they turn us down when all the other electric co-ops let the other counties put it in there? And
Did they give you a reasoning why? I mean, they accepted it, it was presented, it was accepted, and then it was denied. Was there a reasoning for the denial?
I did not have direct contact with them. That was all done through Mayor Karen Sheik. She was the one that was working on that, and we did get essentially approval. We had an ad made, ready to go on their flyers, and at the last minute, they rejected it. I think the reasoning, bottom line from what I heard, was that they reserve that for Empire Electric business only, not for essentially PSAs, and that's what they wound up with.
however, all the other co-ops have the same system and handle it differently. And actually, I said 100 people. What if we missed 1,000?
Oh.
Now, Shaq, 23 million?
Add another zero. Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
So what we did with that money, we had budgeted based on their figures. I believe we had budgeted $1,400 for those printing costs to have those inserts done.
And was that their quote that they gave originally? Was it they were charging us so much to do it?
Yes.
That's the other thing I'd like to bring up. The other counties are not being charged to be able to put this.
And they had a fee tied to it and still wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
They don't want to play ball with anybody.
And
They don't
so
play ball with anybody.
There's a lot of projects we'd like to work with them on, so hopefully
don't-
someday.
They don't play ball with anybody.
So late in the game, we had no choice but to basically double down on the ads that were running in the Cortez Journal because we had that money for advertisement budgeted. And,
TV screen.
oh, very good. Excellent.
Good move, Shaq.
A little more.
So that's what we did. We just doubled down on the advertising budget at the Cortez Journal. And again, this is grant money. This is money that the state allocated, sent down to us. The out-of-pocket cost of the county is, I think, some mileage costs as we travel around throughout the county.
But you
over
want
the
it to
next
be
few weeks.
effective. You want it to be effective, and everybody gets a utility bill, and that's effective.
Yeah.
The newspaper and the radio, and they've proven those are hit and miss effectiveness when you're spending
Well,
money.
and the city of Cortez put theirs out in their water bills. They're willing to do that, obviously. Of course, that unfortunately only reaches the
City, town
people
limits.
who get the
1/3,
water bills for the
sure,
Cortez.
1/3 of the county.
Yeah, 1/3 of the county, 1/3 of your population.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, I'll
But
tell you
it's
what.
been nice to reach out to each part of the community and talk about this and realize it's important for all of us, so.
I think we're excited as we're hitting the ground running, and we got these vests just to look a little more official, and we have a few volunteers that we're working with that are going to be manning stations at the libraries, staff at town halls and so forth that will be educated about the importance of the census. We do have 8 tablets that are going to be stationed at various locations. For instance, senior, veterans, the Wiccan Health Department. These will be able to go out on staff on their visits as well to enable people who do not have that ability to fill out the census to do so. We just dropped one off at the Pinion Project this morning. They're very excited to be able to have that as part of, they know how important that is to their funding mechanism.
Can I ask you a question? So I attended a meeting in Washington DC about this with one of the, I think she's one of the main ladies that run this. She informed me, and I've got some cards. I was going to hand them out to people that don't have a job, my brother, but I was going to hand them out to, said that we weren't, of all the area, we were one of the areas that is there enough help for census takers? Have you hired everybody that you need to hire? Has that process started yet? But she said that our area was an area that there was a concern of getting adequate help. Is that correct?
Excellent question, and I will say that the Census Bureau has done a good job putting out some detailed maps as far as what we need to be looking for. As far as hiring of census workers, Montezuma County is at over 100% of their staffing requirements. Where they are low is in San Juan County, New Mexico. They're also low in San Miguel County for hiring those positions.
Oh, so she was probably just giving me a region.
A region,
okay.
a region area, but for our county, fortunately, we're 100% staffed for our folks, providing those jobs that are.
Doug, does that include the Ute Mountain Tribe? Are you well-staffed down there? Because I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a place that a lot could be missed.
And it pays, what is the pay?
$26, $27, something around there, dollars an hour.
Yeah.
The Ute Mountain Tribe, I mean, we all recognize how important that that is to our community, all the residents down there. And we have had some conversations with the tribal has their own complete count committee down there, and they have funding mechanisms, assistance, they're running their own events, and we've shared some of our efforts with them. They're taking on running it with their community, where we're trying to have that overlap, as we know that our communities are really intertwined. So we're staffing our libraries. We're going to be manning some booths at City Market and Walmart and all the grocery stores, so that those folks see that common message, how important it is to our community.
Anything else, commissioners?
I'm just willing to listen to whatever you have left. I think
Really, this is over the next few weeks, we know that April 1st is Census Day, and that's the significance of that is that's who's living in your household, family members or anybody else who's living in your household. Roommates on that day needs to be counted in that, for that household. The online response is opening up the 12th. I believe that's this Thursday. People will start receiving an invitation to respond online, a postcard in the mail, probably starting Saturday, next Monday. That's all happening. And same with our response. You're going to see this banner in 30 different locations throughout the county, with little stands with these pamphlets people can take home, and we're doing what we can. You'll see it in the newspaper, share it on social media as soon as that response opens up this Thursday, so people can click and respond and be done with it, and you won't have a government worker visiting you throughout the summer.
You know, there's so many things tied to the census, redistricting of
Right, we could get another congressional seat.
Yeah, it's sad.
All the schools have all the water bottles and pens for the kids. They're going to be handing those out, hopefully with lesson plans over the next week before spring break to take home. And also, just really importantly, it's this data is, there's not a lot of personal information they're collecting through this survey. It's mostly that we want to make sure where are you living so that you're counted here in this community. Mm-hmm. That's really what the questions are about, to make sure that you're counted in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Right. Any additional questions, Commissioner Shack, John?
I was going to invite John to stay the night at my house on April 1st.
As an overnight guest, yeah.
6 months and a day, so if you're,
6 months I'd have to run past my wife. On the day of April 1st, you're welcome to be at my home.
All right. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
I say we break for lunch.
And I just have one comment.
Well, I've just
for
got one
Kim.
left.
I made the Dolores fire protection map, and so if you want me to print that out, I'd be happy to. So.
Shaq, go ahead.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So these four. January, December, November, and October. We got all four of them.
Now that we've got our finance person hired, I've got 4 months of expenditures, which I gave to you last week to look over and approve. I've got October, November, December, and January's expenditures caught up. So you've had the chance to look those over. I could.
Any questions, commissioners?
I asked my questions yesterday, which were basically all of the medical transports on the back, which can't be
Was social
exposed
services.
because they're all
Social
social
services,
services, so it just, that's all it shows is just a medical transport.
And I got mine answered by IT on data safe, so.
Can we make a multi-motion for all
Yeah.
4 months?
I think you can.
So then I would move that we accept the expenditures for October, November, December, and of 2019 and January of 2020.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the Montezuma County financials from October 2019 to January 1st of 2020. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Now, shall we break for lunch? And then,
I've got more report.
I was afraid of that. Go ahead.
Yeah, we knew that was.
And then we can break for lunch.
So while we're thinking about breaking for lunch, we can do this one of two ways. We can break for lunch and come back for an executive session.
All right.
We could take care of our executive session and lunch. You guys think that over while I...
Do the executive session during lunchtime?
Just throw that out there, see if it sticks or not.
Well, I want to eat. Yeah.
So I'll,
Yeah,
We're
let's-
way beyond the
Hey, Shaq?
limitations, so.
Yes, sir.
is it good by me to start one of these sets of 4 financials and have them signed by all of us? And
Yes,
one of
because
my
I'm
sets fine?
having technical
Oh,
difficulties.
Commissioner Sukla's the
bringing
only
some
one that
stuff.
signs them, so here you go,
Yeah.
buddy.
But you were the chairman in October, November, December.
But you're the
signature
chairman the
will-
day we vote on it.
Your
Yeah,
signature.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I think it's on you, bud.
Your
I wanted
name's
your
the only one
signature
on
on
There
there.
were some things
I wanted
back
your
there in
signature on it.
October and November that was
So-
pretty shaky.
So, well, Shaq, do you want to finish your report after lunch?
I can if you'd like me to.
Then we need to do it.
Why don't we do that? Let's go to lunch. We will reconvene at 1:30. Is that enough time?
Yes.
Who's buying?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
I think that
I like that.
All right, thank you. We're going to reconvene, and then we're going to finish up Shaq's report, Commissioner's report. We're going to, we'll have public comment, and then we'll go into the executive session, and then come back out.
to discuss the
discussion-
acquisition of the crusher.
And Dolores County, the
Selling gravel to them.
selling gravel. There were two action items.